The life and suffering of Sir Brante in the times of the fall of the blessed Arcnian Empire. In times of the fall of the... It's just a very labored... How could this second part of it... So, like, I kind of get why they have two separate titles. Because one could be more of a, you know, like more of a chronology almost. Or more of like the same character in different scenarios sort of thing. So this would be like the actual title here. It's still a bit labored. So how could we clean this up? See, this is where literary skills would come in handy. Like if I had paid attention more in English class. While still maintaining sort of that certain flair to it. Because obviously you could get rid of this and just put during. But that kind of loses a bit of its style. During the fall of the blessed, it's a little more concise and easier to read, but it does lack a certain flair. I don't know. I was never that good at titling anyway. But I'm probably not the best person to judge. Alright, continuing. Butterball, Chapter 1, Childhood, is done. We're actually at the point of young adulthood. Adolescence, as they call it. Oh wait, do we have to redo something here? Let's find out. I think I remember our decision. Oh, childhood's end, okay. It's just gonna recap us. Okay, so we just have to go through the recap again. Not too bad. Shabby. Well, the hell did I smudge? Okay, that's fine. Your childhood years are over. Moving on to adolescence. We're a teen now. Or, 9 years old. Going into teenhood. We died once. Feels terrible. Thanks, Grandpa. So our determination is 3, our perception is 4. We're very inquisitive. We were resolute, but we lost a little determination there towards the end. We did gain quite a bit of perception, so... Our willpower, this is kind of like a currency for certain actions. We're okay. We're not great, but we're okay. And we died once. We get 4 deaths. The 4th one is the last one. Here we go.
I was growing up fast. The school, the streets, and the whole wide world awaited me beyond the gate of my parents' house.
It is time. Apparently we're greeting someone. You've lived in this world for 8 years now. As you grow older, life grows more complex. The world of your childhood was limited to your house and family, but now that realm is expanding. It also includes your neighborhood, the nearby houses, the streets of the ancient city of Anazot. A question now looms over you, growing more pressing with each passing year. What will your place be in this vast outside world? Few people in the blessed Arcnian Empire trouble themselves with this question. It's not within a man or woman's power to choose. Their destiny is predetermined by their birth, and those who bore them. And yet your peculiar birth has granted you a choice. Your father is a man of nobility, a worthy example in matters of duty and honor. Your mother is a commoner of lowly estate, humility and patience made flesh. And your sky is ablaze day and night with the light of the shining pillar, the beacon of the clergy. Your back bears the mark of the lash. Will you accept the drudgery and suffering that is the lot of the lowborn for your entire life? Or will you follow in the footsteps of your father and your father's father and fight for the right to serve the Empire as a noble of the mantle? Perhaps you will follow the Twin God's word and offer spiritual guidance to others. The answer lies out there in that vast, terrifying world. What awaits you beyond the walls of your home? Amidst the downfall of the blessed, yep. Amidst the downfall, Yes, that does retain a sort of a classical flair, but does simplify the title. Good thinking, Silver Shield. That's a good one. There you go. That definitely tones down the verbiage, but keeps the style. I like it. We achieved something special in my childhood. We died. As a 6-year, we died in our childhood. That was a pretty big achievement, apparently. It gave me an achievement for it. Otherwise, we kind of ended up middling in our stats. 3 determination, 4 perception. And it looks like so far we might be heading down a noble path, but it's hard to say for sure. That's going to come up to decisions you guys make today. Beyond we achieved, actually, I think we can take a look here, can't we? Destiny personality, I think it was, which one of these was it? I think it was this one, Destiny. We got 1. We only got 1. So, there's more options here. A couple of extras. So, we're gonna, I don't want to look at too much of those, though, because they kind of spoil what's coming up. Alright, chapter 2. Well, I guess I kind of spoil it anyway, but, you know. Your world grows. The neighborhood, the houses nearby. We already read that. We already read that. Okay, we already read that. Events that can happen. Skip. Skip. Alright, your personal qualities at this age. They determine which choices you may take. Our nobility is 0. Our ingenuity, we get new stats now. We're a little slow, chat. We're unprincipled, we're slow, and we're mundane. Damn. That's tough, man. That's tough. And that strikes a little close to home here. Alright. Okay. Personality, alright. So we got some willpower to play around with right now. And we can apparently go down to -10, I guess. Or, I don't know if once we hit exhausted we can't make the decisions. I'm not sure quite how that works yet. Okay, alright. Oh, new sections open. What new sections? Relations, province, and map of the empire. Fair enough. There's still a couple we don't have, though. Continue! The year, it does expand. It marches on, never forth. Altered by no man or ambition. The boy down the street. The family expects more and more of you as you grow up. The teachers and tutors hired by your father keep you on your toes all the time. Your life these days is dedicated to studying for your future, for the future of the Brante family. Oh, when we did hit beyond, though, we chose family. Of the 6 options... we chose family. Nobody could decide, so we ended up having to roll a dice for it. I don't know how much that decision actually impacts the story, if at all, but that's what we chose. Let's see. Your younger brother Nathan keeps growing up too. He can hold a conversation now. You never refuse him when he comes to play, provided you have a bit of free time between your demanding lessons. It is a rainy day today. Father and mother have gone to a ball, and they left Nathan in your care. You lose track of time over the books in the sitting room, and Nathan goes off alone to splash in the creek. Oh boy. Soon you hear his voice begging you to come outside. He is on the porch, sobbing, all covered in dirt. You walk up to him as he continues to bawl. It's all that kid. He pushed me into the ditch and called me names. He said I was a fancy pants fool. I said, I'll call my brother. He's still there. You have to go punish him, Butterball. I would, Rob, I'll get him. Nathan points at a lopsided wooden house, further down the street where the poorer artisans live. You see 2 boys lingering there on the porch. They're clearly both commoners, but far from poor. One of them is almost as tall as Nathan, and he frowns in a funny way just like him. The other looks older, almost your age, but he is a more broad-shouldered and taller. His name is Thomas. You've heard it before. There, Butterball, that's him. Nathan points at the younger boy and hides behind your back. Thomas grins and rolls up his sleeves to reveal strong forearms. He must have been helping his father with manual labor for quite some time. Chat, time to get our ass kicked. Oh, yeah. Thomas Guerrero. Listen up, rich boys. We don't give a damn about you or your friendship. We don't let nobody call our home a stinking rat hole. Your little brother earned his ditch dive. Did he call... What? Nathan? Hey, who you been talking to? You've been talking to Grandpa, haven't you, Nathan? Stop talking to Grandpa. He might kill you. You're of the ripe old age of like 6. That's when he likes to murder them. Stay away from Grandpa, Nathan. Maybe next time he'll dress normal and stop picking fights with people who can throw him in the mud. It's good life advice, actually. Your hands clench into fists before you react. Nathan called them names first. No wonder they did the same. That's how it goes. But pushing your brother into a ditch is too much. Thomas stands tall and confident. That is a fair point. It was words exchanged with action, so... Thomas stands tall and confident. He sees no threat in you. You're about to get ready for a fight when you feel a tug on your sleeve. You turn your head to see Nathan, the one who started the whole mess. Our options are... Come at Thomas and give him a beating. Say your brother is to blame. Resolve the matter peacefully. There's a fourth option, but we cannot do it. If you would like to determine the fate of Sir Brant, you may vote 1, 2, or 3, much like a Menzies. What's up, Polar Koala? We have a 1 and we have a 3. Do we have a tiebreaker? If not, we resolve to the dice. Alright. Looks like 1 will take it. I don't know if we're much of a scrapper, but let's go. You tried to snipe at Teasy. I know you. The bold-faced bully is taller and clearly stronger, but nobody talks to you like that. You leap at Thomas and start tearing into him. He jumps backward, surprised by your assault. It takes him a moment to compose himself, but now he is ready. His fists cover the face, and he attacks you with a quick jab. It is now your turn to take a step backward. You start trading blows, huffing and puffing with rage. The younger brothers gawk in awe at the sight. You have delay! How much delay? Good question. There was a little bit of, refresh then. Hit F5. Press F5. Silver Shield, you might need to press F5 as well. Looks like both of you had a little bit of delay there. It might not just be your connection, TZ. I did have a little instability there for about a minute. So, that can definitely cause some buffering and some delay, so. Anyway, if you're a bit delayed, then go ahead and refresh your browser, and that should fix it. Okay, next. Oh! Thomas does not resort to fancy moves, dirty tricks, or stupid taunts. He displays nothing but skill earned in many a street fight, and his heavy fists aim for your head. You keep dodging him again and again, trying to reach him. He takes a couple of glancing blows, but easily shakes them off. What a bruiser. You start swinging your fists with greater and greater fury. Your heart is pounding like a hammer. You see nothing but the foe in front of you. How much longer will this take? You're worn out, your breath grows ragged, and your muscles grow heavy. But there is no way you can give up now. Nathan is watching you. Desperate and out of options, you swing and punch Thomas square in the nose, then immediately let his fist smack you in the temple. The blow rings through your head like a bell and blinds you for a moment. We keep taking blows to the head that blind us, chat. We're gonna lose our vision eventually. Oh. Yep. The world swims before your eyes. You clutch at your head to get your bearings. Thomas is standing in front of you, blood dripping from his nose. You no longer want to fight it out, and it seems your opponent would rather end it too. But you keep standing there, eyeing each other angrily. Then suddenly, you hear an angry shout right next to you. An enraged man in a craftsman's apron is shaking his fist. Thomas's face contorts in terror right away. It's my father! Run! The punishment for fighting is flogging, and the mere prospect of that makes you run like the wind. Thomas sprints in front of you. You dash across the rotten wooden planks of the back alley and up over a lopsided fence, across a giant puddle in one leap, and then forward into the tall grass. You hide there and stay quiet. You hear no sound of pursuit. You exchange glances with Thomas and start laughing. His laughter is loud and infectious, but soon he cuts it short and grows sadder. I'll get flogged anyways. My dad's always quick to give me a beating, and then he'll start nagging me about the lots and the prayers for days like he always does. Why do I always get myself mixed up in this stuff? But fighting's the only way to prove you're worth anything, right? Yeah. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure how the social structure of this world works yet, but maybe. Yeah. The adults didn't see you fighting, you tell them, so all you have to do now is convince them you aren't. Nosebleeds happen, right? Mother gets nosebleeds all the time. I feel like the bruising might be an indicator, but you know. Well, we could try it. Let's hope our little brothers don't tell on us. I'll talk to mine. There's a scratch on your head. Don't let him see it. Good thing I didn't hit you in the face. There, good as new. You assure him that Nathan will never tell, and in return, you'll make sure he behaves himself so he won't get tossed into a ditch again. With that, you shake hands with Thomas. His handshake is as strong as you would expect based on his fists. You make your way out of the tall grass. You need to leave before Thomas's father goes to your family and complains about you breaking your lot. You come to a realization on the way back. You had no idea the place where you were hiding even existed, and it wasn't too far from home. Thomas smiles in excitement when he hears this. Oh, I know lots of places like that. I'll tell you what, if we get out of this mess today, I'll show you the way to the old wall. It's a perfect place to build forts. I dragged a bunch of wooden planks there. Too bad it's no fun to build all alone. My brother never helps, he just gets in the way. Fair enough. You emerge from the muddy back alleys, united by a secret only the two of you know. It seems you've made a friend today. Hooray, we're indifferent. What a friendship. Okay. Well, hey, it's a start, you know? You gotta start somewhere. Ah, nobility. Our nobility has increased. We're still unprincipled, but climbing. Met Thomas. You have made a friend. A boy named Thomas. Fair enough. We are 9 years old now. We're growing like a beanstalk. A delightful spring day. Summer day. It is blistering hot today, even for the sun-parched land of Magra. As soon as you are done with your studies, you dash outdoors and out of the stuffy room. You and Thomas roll up your shirt sleeves, but it barely helps. You would gladly go shirtless had you only been in the company of other boys. But there are 3 girls in the yard today. They are doing the laundry in a big wash tub, whispering and giggling. If you could, you would gladly keep watching one of them at work. They're getting to that age. Your delay is the operator, by the way. I don't know what that means, but okay. She has big eyes of deep blue, her dark hair is braided, and her plain gray dress is mended and patched all over. Her name is Sophia. She throws her head back a little when she laughs. The rays of the sun are reflected in her eyes. You, Thomas, and the other boys keep telling silly stories, anything to make her laugh. You sure love telling tall tales, Butterball. Oh, I remember this one time. But then Sophia hears a voice calling her home. She nods to you and runs across the street smiling. Her light steps carry her forward, but her eyes are looking elsewhere. But then a stone on the road catches her foot. She stumbles and falls into the dust. Flat into the dust. The street starts shaking from the thundering of hooves. Riders appear on the road from around the corner. They bear a coat of arms you recognize right away, a sable serpent blade upon a field of vert. It symbolizes the Milanidis dynasty, the family of your province's archduke. The horses dash forward, a lost wooden toy on the road cracks under their hooves. They will not slow down. They are the nobles, and the rest must make way for them. Sophia is in their way. just now starting to get back on her feet. Her mother is crying for her desperately from behind the fence door. You freeze in terror. The riders surely see the girl. Are they going to stop, or are they going to trample her? In only a few moments, a beautiful girl will be toppled, trampled, and crushed. We have two options, chat. 1 or 2. Shield Sophia from the horses or stay where you are. 1. I'm feeling like this is unanimous. We shall shield her. This will use all of our willpower. Fair enough. You rush into the road, blinded by hope, determined to stop the race. This is gonna be our second death, isn't it? God damn it. I'm ready to die. Send me on. You throw yourself blindly into the road, swinging your arms wildly. Dazed by the sound of thundering hooves, you can see nothing in the dust. For a brief moment, the horses slow down, just long enough for Sophia to get back on her feet and flee into the roadside. But then the riders dig their spurs in. Goodbye. Remember me fondly. Dozens of hooves knock you off your feet and roll across your body. Your bones crack, break, and crumble. Your ears are ripped apart by the thundering rhythm of the ride. Your innards are pulverized. The last thing you remember is the sound of your own skull caving in. Yeah. Second death. We only have one more, chat. We get one more freebie. Impenetrable darkness surrounds you. You stand alone, bare to your very essence. It paralyzes you. You have an urge to cover yourself, to hide. No one should see you so vulnerable. But you cannot conceal the truth in this place. You are bathed in an unbearably bright light. It has no hint of warmth in it. It is blinding. It leaves no shadows in the entire world. It is the light of the shining pillar itself. In this radiance, you can clearly see all your thoughts and doubts, your errors and transgressions, the contradictions that have permeated you since birth. They cover you from head to toe like rough gray tatters. But they melt away in this light. You are naked. You feel liberated and whole. It is as though all the wounds and cracks in your soul have been healed, making it the way it should be. It is as though the scales have fallen from your eyes. You see the true shapes of things now. These are the laws by which the world abides, the grand design that moves life itself. You tread a path that is barely visible in the blinding light, giving shape to everything. In this light, you see the infinite complexity of the world, from the tiniest leaf to the enormity of the empire. And this world maintains its balance by virtue of the law that was embedded in it during the act of creation. Ahead of you, two figures are waiting on the path. They are gigantic, many times taller than a man. The elder holds a lash, the younger a sword. The younger gazes at you sternly, coldly. You kneel obediently before him and lower your head. The god raises his sword above you. This is divine retribution. There is no law without it, nor can there be. Every action has consequences. This is what shapes the world, making its very existence possible. In this moment, beneath the gaze of the merciless god, you comprehend the law that binds the entire world together. Which manifestation of the law will you live by? Alright. One. We have Empire, Lot, Family, Cause Yourself, or Against the Law. What do you guys want? If we can't come to an agreement, the dice will decide once more. Roll the dice! I don't know, we'll see. Any strong opinions? Roll the dice? Okay. Roll the dice. Let me find my dice. Oh, actually, I'll roll it through, Alright, rolling now. The answer is 5. 5 is our answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You are the embodiment of the law. You have been made in accordance with the divine design. Bold statement. Okay. All right. The blade flashes. The Younger's sword slashes through the air above your head. You do not yet deserve your final punishment. The law demands that you continue your life. Your form has not been completely destroyed, nor has that of the world. The Younger extends his gigantic hand and shows you the way. You must proceed. The path leads you to the top of the crown of the silver tree, spread wide in the white gleam. Branches are close now. It is time to descend. You are drawn downward into the darkness. The shadows that had disappeared in the blinding glow creep around you and envelop you. This is to be expected, but the purity and clarity of spirit are still with you. Something is forcing your throat open. Air. It scratches you on the inside. Your soul is filled with struggle again, with the contradictions from which the fabric of this world and you yourself are woven. The divine light that gave you clarity is fading away with each passing moment. You have to open your eyes. Above you is the dark ceiling of the crypt. You are reborn. Then you can feel again. You sense your body, head, arms, and legs. Light fades around you, obedient before a will that is stronger than you. You return to the world. Such is the law of the twins. You will return to the world until the time of your true death. In this world, you will have a body with which to feel pain and suffering and pleasure. You smell a sickly, moist odor. You open your eyes and see the figures of mother and father in the gloom of the family crypt, speaking to each other quietly. They stop as soon as they hear you gasp. Mother runs to you and locks you in an embrace as father wraps you in his cloak. Neither of them says a word as they lead you out to the surface and back home. You've met a terrible end, my son. You were trampled by those horses. Don't be so careless ever again. The lives you were granted by the twin gods are not to be wasted so recklessly. You would be punished for this, but the twins have already meted out their punishment. You tremble, your steps unsteady as you learn how to move again. Your body is eerily smooth, fresh, and renewed. Even the recent scars and scratches are all gone. But there is something new on it, a fresh black mark, a reminder of your lesser death beneath those hooves. Remember that by the twins' mercy, we are all given enough time in this world. Should you die before your time, you will be brought back by their grace. For 3 times they will rescue you from a terrible fate, but the 4th death is true and final for all. Every loss of life we are granted at our birth is a heavy blow to us, but the gods told us not to mourn a lesser death, and so we will humbly accept this and move on. See, your body has been reborn anew, with all your wounds healed. Do not mourn your loss of life, my son, but thank the twin gods for their justice. Do not speak of this, and do not ever play by the road again if you wish to keep on living. I was saving Sophia. She's kinda cute. You cautiously go back outside the next day. Children from the neighborhood surround you. They all saw you get trampled, and now they all ask the same question. What was it like to die? Thomas rescues you from their pestering. He pushes the motley crew aside, hugs you, and pats you on the back. Look at you, buddy. You gave an entire life to keep a girl safe. Then you see Sophia. She is standing nearby, shyly working up the courage to walk over to you. Soon, she finally approaches you and begins speaking rapidly. Butterball, why did you throw yourself in front of those horses? My life isn't worth any more than yours. So why did you think that? You weren't supposed to die there. It was all those riders' fault. They deserve to die, not you. Agreed. Rabble. Down with the riders. Her voice rises to a shriek. She suddenly stops and runs back home. You stay where you are, watching her run, the golden rays of the sun dancing in her braided hair. Well, we're making friends all over the place, chat. Still indifferent, though, you know, I mean, it's fair. I feel like trading a life should be at least worth 2, you know? Damn. Alright. It was, well, the first time... it depends on how you die, I guess. The first time we died, you know, so... It was essentially... I don't know, actually. There really wasn't a difference. Both were in defiance of higher order. So I guess they're just introducing you to the idea of each god every time you die. Or for the first 2. The first time we were introduced to the Elder. The second time, the Younger. So it's just introducing things, so the tone of the death was different for each. as one is merciful and one is merciless. So that's why. Which makes me curious what the third death is going to be like, since they have nobody left to introduce. Nobility has increased. We are honorable. Ingenuity went up. Well, I'm going to throw myself in front of a horse. That's smart, right? Oh my god. Bright. We just went in there swinging our fists at a bunch of horses in a gallop. Yeah, this should not have increased. Spirituality went up. Oh, really? Well, interesting. Willpower went down. Well, we used an action, but that's fine. We get one more. And we're at 2 deaths. Dog. We're not even going to make it to adulthood, chat. Sophia saved. Hooray, we did it. You saved the local girl named Sophia from lesser death. She probably doesn't even have a lesser death. We already had one. Damn, we were thinking with the wrong head on that one. Well, we're 10 years old now. But hey, we got 2 friends instead of 1, so we doubled our friendships. Sophia disappeared after the... Well, fuck. Sophia disappeared after the terrible incident with the horses. Her friends gossip that her parents sent her off to serve a rich noble dynasty. You haven't seen each other since that day, but you still remember Sophia's eyes, and the sunlight shining on them. But no matter, life goes on. Damn! I'm sure that'll come back later. You are 10 years old now. Your studies continue, and you are learning more about the land you live in. Anazant is an ancient city in an imperial province by the name of Magra. All soil in Magra was turned to ash eons ago, scorched by magic during the rebellion of Duke Char Milanitis. Isn't that the name of the Duke who those people belonged to? So I guess the rebellion was successful then. The magical arts are all but gone now, but the scorched earth has remained barren and infertile ever since. Since then, the entire province has lain barren, tormented by cold and scorching winds in equal measure, with few precious plants taking root on their own. All fertile land in Magra is bought elsewhere and brought here by an endless caravan of carts and carriages. To pay for food and soil, the cities of Magra became skilled in many trades, primarily mining and digging for metals and stone. Last fall, there was an explosion just outside of the city, followed by clouds of thick smoke. The first such incident frightened the citizens, but then explosions and smoke became an everyday occurrence. Soon everyone grew used to it. Father explains that the miners are using a new invention called gunpowder. It makes it easier for them to reach the precious stones and metals buried deep within the earth. Then one day, a thunderous explosion rocks the city. Black, billowing smoke covers the houses. People are stuck in their homes, all windows tightly shut. The air is impossible to breathe. Nathan coughs all the time. Gloria and you cough only when nobody is watching. If Mother hears it, she'll make you inhale those hot herbal vapors, just like Nathan. Ugh. Vapo rub, but worse. It takes 2 days for the black smoke to disperse. People pour out onto the streets to meet their friends. Thomas is eager to share everything he knows about this incident with you. They took lots of burnt-up people to the city temple. Mom told me she was helping the healers. There are many rumors. Some claim it was the work of a beast stirred from its slumber, while others say it's the surviving witches that continue to threaten the Order and the Empire with their accursed powers. But as for you, you patiently wait for Father to come back home, and then you'll ask him about it. Father spends day and night working at the prefecture, while Mother spends all her time in prayer. It takes a full week for Father to finally come home, and he's almost completely spent. You muster enough courage during dinner to ask him what happened outside the city. Father raises his head, his face a bleak, weary mask, and starts muttering his proclamation. It's almost as if he doesn't see you. It's the mine outside of the city. They were trying to get a vein of ore. There was an explosion. The mine caved in and the black smoke started flowing. Many workers died there. It was all because Count El Velasco, who owns the mine, wanted them to start mining that vein before they were ready. Some of the workers weren't even reborn. Perhaps the twins thought their final time had come. The prefecture has been inundated with complaints from families that have lost their breadwinners, asking the judges for help. Many people also lost their cattle to the black smoke. Count El Velasco blames gunpowder for the disaster. The prefecture and the newspapers just repeat whatever he says. But it's plain old greed and tyranny of noblemen that are to blame. Why is the welfare of our province always paid for with commoner lives? Then, without warning, he grows silent again. You keep thinking about it for days. Can a human life really end so easily? Yeah, I mean, it's twice already. We know exactly how easily it ends. A single moment of bad luck, and you die, only to re-emerge from the temple or the family crypt with a new black mark on your arm. Or worse, you remain where you fell, dead, never to be reborn again. Ever. Order has declined. The wealth of Magra has increased. This is the Empire, huh? Less order? It's still peaceful, though, I guess. But yeah, less order and wealth has increased from security to affluence. Hooray, I guess. I don't know how this affects us yet. Stefan's arrival. During lunch, Father tells you to stay home in the evening and prepare to meet some important guests. Your elder brother Stefan will return home by dinner tonight. Joining him will be your grandfather, Gregor Brante, as well as a noble friend of the family. You are excited about your brother's return. It has been years since you last saw him. How has he changed during his years away from home? Very poorly. Well, it's time for death number 3, I feel. You and Father await the guests anxiously. The doorbell rings. 3 people are standing outside. Grandfather is the first to come in. Naturally. He has not changed a bit since his last visit, still eyeing the house with contempt, looking for any reason to demean it. Grandfather is followed by a stately young man dressed in a jacket embroidered in silver. You barely recognize as your brother. Stefan casts a glance at your threadbare clothes, your dirty fingernails, and smirks. Still a son of a bitch. The last to enter the house is a personable gentleman with a worn-out, wrinkled face. You have heard a lot about this man from father and grandfather. He is Baron Augustin Elborn, Stefan's uncle, a family friend, and the province's prefect, which means that he is the head judge and thus father's superior. Sir Elborn smiles lightly and offers you his hand. And this must be your youngest son, Butterball, yes? You have your father's eyes, young man. Father bows slightly to grandfather and Sir Elborn, but there is a moment of quiet when Stefan's turn comes. Father reaches out to him awkwardly, expecting an embrace. There is a question in Stefan's eyes as he looks at grandfather. The old man shakes his head almost imperceptibly. We noblemen oughtn't put our emotions on public display, Father, not even after a lengthy separation. There was no embrace. Instead, Stefan nods to Father curtly. He responds in kind, his face devoid of emotion. After the greeting, you proceed to the sitting room. Elborn is the first to enter. He kisses Mother's hand, and Gloria's too, and tussles Nathan's hair after he sees him hiding by the table. Grandfather acknowledges them with a glum nod. Greetings, Lydia Brant. I remember you were kind to me when I was but a child, and you must be Nathan. You could barely walk when I saw you last. Wow. Okay. Your elder brother ignores Gloria completely, not even a greeting. Feels bad, man. You proceed to the dining room in a dignified manner and take your seats. The dishes smell delicious, but they merely punctuate the overwhelming tension of the table. Elborn is the only one with a friendly smile on his face. A noble who's not a complete dickhole. Amazing. Well, I guess father technically as well. And a successful noble, too. Like the prefect, the head judge. Maybe Grandpa should be trying to channel him more. The dinner is splendid, Lydia. Did you choose the dishes yourself? You have a truly refined palate. It warms my heart to know Stefan spent his early years with you. Womanly care always does a child good, no matter the estate. Your fork freezes in the air halfway to your mouth. You expect many things from a noble of the sword, but words of praise for a low-born woman are not one of them. You cast a glance at grandfather. He looks like he is about to choke on those words. Get fucked! It would do my grandson more good to stay at boarding school among his equals. Please, Gregor, parenting is no less important. Nothing can replace a mother's love. I cannot deny it. It saddens me greatly that my late sister could not be here to raise Stefan. But there was still a family for him, and he was surrounded by love. How could that be bad? And besides, his father was by his side all the while. A father's example is always the best, after all. Robert and the judges rank the same way you did. Your grandson will surely follow in your footsteps. And who knows, perhaps even the younger men of the Brante family will contribute to the... ... You clumsy, low-born cretin! Oh no. Everybody is startled by the sudden outburst. Grandfather's face turns red. He is glaring at a young lady servant holding a pitcher over a glass. Stefan is sitting right next to her, dabbing a napkin on a fresh stain on his jacket. Begone this instant! Lady servant runs away, leaving the pitcher on a small table by the door. After a quiet moment, Elborn smiles again. It appears the servants have left us, yet dinner is far from over. Worry not, Uncle. There are enough commoners at this table to keep us served with food and drink. Oh, yeah. We're gonna kill him before this is over. Before my final death, I will kill Stefan. Mark my words, chat. Stefan glares at Gloria across the table. She's sitting right next to you. She shrinks down and hunches over under his gaze. Her father furrows his brows. Mother covers her mouth with trembling hands. Grandfather sneers. Stefan's gaze does not move. The silence lasts for too long. Then she starts to rise from her chair. If the Brante gentlemen so wish it. Your hands clench into fists under the table. How can he bring himself to humiliate his own family, his own mother and sister like this? It is all grandfather's doing. Stefan could not even bring himself to embrace father without his permission. And yet they are noblemen, and they have the right to act this way. If there is any way this dinner can become even more unbearable, you do not want to see it. We have a choice. We have 3 options, 1, 2, and 3. Insult your brother. Make small talk over dinner. Join Gloria in her plight. Do we have any strong preferences? We have 3s, we have 2s, we have 1. Bob just wants us to die. He's done with his life. He's ready for no fucking hell. We're gonna die. Okay. Well, 1 takes it. Now you know life's overrated. You step out of line and insult Stefan for what he's done. Goodbye, Butterball. It was nice knowing Butterball while it lasted. You grab Gloria by the arm and keep her seated. Stefan turns a puzzled gaze towards you. With a wry smile, you open your mouth. Stefan, how did you have the gall to speak without Sir Gregor's permission? Surely you wouldn't even answer nature's call without his leave. Stefan looks at grandfather, completely flabbergasted. And then, chaos. Grandfather roars with fury. Father stares you down with a disappointed look on his face. Gloria tries again and again to contain her laughter. Nathan hides under the table. Sir Elborn is unsure what to do. Stefan looks like he is about to cry. Then Mother takes your hand and leads you out of the dining room. That's not looking good for our nobility, chat, but damn, it felt good. I'm ready to die again. Let's get it over with. You expect to be locked in your room as usual, but instead she leads you outside to an unlit shed. Oh, Ma's taking us out back to put us down. We're going out old Yeller style. I'm locking you in here for the night, son. Your presence tonight would be an insult to our noble guests. It's time you learn the meaning of humility. You do your best to fall asleep inside the shed on the cold wooden floor. Well, at least we're not dead. Anything to make this rotten day end sooner. Grandfather's cries of outrage can still be heard from the house. Gloria sneaks out to the shed in the middle of the night. She calls to you from behind the wooden planks. There is gratitude in her voice. I never thought you would defy them like that. Thank you so much for standing up to them. Sir Gregor got so mad he forgot all about me, so I ran away. Sir Elborn took Stefan away with him. How are you doing in there? You're not going to freeze to death, are you? Ah, it's fine. A little frostbite never hurt nobody. Builds character. I didn't need this nose anyway. It's nothing, you tell her. You'll live. The important thing is that grandfather and Stefan finally left her alone. You defended your sister's honor tonight. Oh, and she, shucks. Oh, no, we have bad blood with our asshole of a brother. Oh, dear. Oh, terrible. You defined your elder brother, and he now holds a grudge against you. Well, that's probably going to come back to bite us in the ass later. But it did feel good. Boo. Yep. Oh, shucks. Hey, sympathy. Grateful. Alright. We've regained that one we lost earlier. He's a punk bitch. True. True he is. Our ingenuity has gone up from that. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, we're smarter. I guess it was a pretty good quip, chat. We have a silver tongue on that one. It was a pretty smart insult. Well, we're no longer slow, so that's good. Let's see if we can retain that. We'll be dead before he gets true. We're 11 years old now. We're almost what are we? Like a Okay, I don't know where that thought was going, but the horse has clopped it right out of my head, so it doesn't matter. A dropped handkerchief. Hot, dry wind sweeps through the city from the barren lands around it. The noble residents of Venizant prefer to remain in their chambers, while the commoners huddle in tents or in the shade of the silver tree. You are on an errand right now. Your father wrote a letter to a noble acquaintance, and you are to deliver it. Oh, they still trust me around the nobles. Very good. Thomas, the boy down the street, is tagging along. The two of you are inseparable now. The errand is an easy one, so you decide to take this opportunity to loiter around the part of Venizant where the nobles live. So here you are, in the middle of the city square, resting on the ancient brickwork by the old fountain in the merciful shade of the gargantuan silver tree. Thomas is by your side, lazily slouching on the edge of the fountain's basin. It's a hard life for commoners like you and me. Either you break your back in a workshop day and night, hoping someone will buy your goods someday, or you become a manservant to some noble. You never get a chance to enjoy life. This is our lot, you remind him. We work and endure and suffer. Thomas waves your words away. Yeah, I know all that already. Mother keeps drilling that stuff into me. We must be humble. Our strength is patience and persistence. So yeah, I say, but I want to make my fortune no matter what, so how ain't that living by my lot, I ask you? But the lots, they ain't easy. Let's take you, for example. Brant, your father's a nobleman, but even that didn't make you one. Just look at your hands. You never had to work as hard as me. We have the same lot, so we're supposed to suffer the same. Oh, look at your father. He's a judge. He toils at the prefecture day and night doing his judging. And he's a noble? I've never seen an Archnean work as hard as he does. It's a fair point. He's got a good point. Damn, this kid's smart for an idiot. You shrug. The Archneans are a different race. The books say they were born to rule over humans. They are never commoners, always nobles of the sword by birth. They founded the Empire after subduing all the human kingdoms on the continent. Humans will never be their equals. Archneans are always better, smarter, stronger, and their skin is a noble shade of blue. If the books are to be believed, of course. You have never seen one yourself. Your idle chatter is suddenly interrupted by a rugged-looking guardsman dressed in black and green. He chases you away from the fountain. Common rabble like you have no place here. You hear the clattering of hooves and wheels against the cobblestones and see flags bearing a coat of arms. A sable serpent on a field of vert. It makes you squirm. It is the Archduke's coat of arms. Melanitis Dynasty. The carriage door opens, revealing a young lady in a luxurious dress. You cannot look away from her. Those dainty shoulders, suggested, but not revealed by the cut of her dress. Her black hair cascading over them. Her stately, slim silhouette. Her pouty lips and prim nose. And those eyes, dark like the night sky. The way she moves, fluidly, gracefully. And most incredible of all, her skin glows an azure blue. She is a masterpiece given life. She is an Archnean. It doesn't do justice here. I don't see the blue glowiness, but... Wait, what do you mean suggested? That's not suggested. Those shoulders are on full display there. I think we got a bad description here, chat. There ain't nothing suggested nowhere. Octavia Melanitis. Clear the way for me! The Melanitis guardsmen work quickly to clear the way of the fountain for the Archnean lady. The searing sun dances on her skin in bizarre patterns. With one elegant motion, she reveals a handkerchief, then leans over the basin and wipes her head and neck with its cool water. Well, I'll be. That's Octavia Melanitis, our Archduke's own daughter. The Archnean turns away and proceeds gracefully back to her carriage. You see something slip out of her hand and fall onto the cobblestones right next to you. Her handkerchief. It is right there by your feet. Intricate craftsmanship, expensive woven fabric, delicately decorated with emerald filigree. Your heart skips a beat. Will you dare draw the beautiful Arachneid's attention in order to return her lost possession? Or would you rather not attempt to cross the chasm between you and her? Bad art? That didn't look like bad art to me. The art looks solid enough. Just didn't quite match the description. Alright, we have options. Give the handkerchief back to Octavia, stash the trophy, or keep the handkerchief as a memento. You're gonna know what to do. 1, 2, or 3. We have 0 willpower now, so this might be our last willpower decision. 2. Give it 2. Fair enough. Twos, threes, sup, Vanilla Ice Queen. 1, 2, 2's taken so far. 3's have tied the 2's. Do we have a tiebreaker, or do I roll? If you have 0 willpower, do not go to a buffet. True. True. You won't feel good after that. It'll be an unfortunate turn of events. Alright. It's time for... Do I seriously not have a coin anywhere around here? I was going to flip a coin, but it appears I have no coinage. I'm coinless. I'm a penniless... Alright, well, that's easy enough. I left this open for a reason. I figured we would need it again. Alright, that'll be a heads, so the 2's take it. Stash the trophy. You quickly hide the trophy, planning to sell it later. Oh boy. Hey, what's a third death, you know? Octavia finishes her graceful return to the carriage. It takes off and the carriage disappears from the square. Then you look at Thomas and show him the handkerchief you are holding. It's time to show him how to start earning that fortune. Your eyes single out a traveling peddler in the crowd. When you finally get his attention, you pull the splendid handkerchief from your pocket. He's gonna rat us out! The peddler smirks knowingly. Finders keepers, and the noble who lost it certainly won't be weeping over it. Truth be told, it is a truly exquisite handkerchief. It still looks quite presentable and will fetch a fair price. After some haggling with the stingy peddler, you trade it for a small fortune. 4 coins. Half of the sum you give to Thomas. Wow, we are an awful fucking negotiator, chat. Jesus. 4 coins. But this was all your handiwork, Butterball. You just grin at him. He can find the next handkerchief. Thomas laughs and you head off to the fruit stand stall together. Hey, we're making a good friend here. We're rich. We're rich. You were wrong. Yeah. 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 Our willpower. Hey, we gained some willpower there. Very nice. "12 years old. The Quorum Decree. 12 years old now. You overhear an important conversation. It is a spring night, and Mother has just sent everyone to bed. You walk past Father's study and hear voices coming from beyond the door. Grandfather is yelling, and Father is replying quietly. The elder Brant men are fighting, arguing about the place of the commoners in the city. You sneak outside to avoid Mother's attention and hide next to the open window of the study. Perhaps they'll mention you, too.
That low-life idiot had the gall to pay me a visit and beg me for some service. He had the insolence to ask me outright. But he thought I was going to support his claim for the chairman's seat in the lesser quorum. How dare he?
Father, please, listen. Mayor Egmont may be lowborn, but he carries a lot of clout in Magra. He owns 5 iron mines. A friend like him could be quite useful, should he become the chairman of the lesser quorum.
I don't give a damn who this Egmont is. Robert. What he is, however, is lowborn. His lot is humility and obedience. The likes of him can never rule anything. They're nothing but a flock of sheep that need a firm, noble hand to guide them. I wasted so many years trying to quash that quorum decree, but that accursed Cornelius Tepes did everything in his power to make the Emperor sign that pathetic screed. And now even lowlifes can wield power. True power, Robert.
Just the right to discuss the size of the Archduke's tax. Nothing more.
That is only the beginning. What's next? Are they going to arm the lowlifes now? Make them into judges? If the Empire rejects the foundations and the lots, the entire edifice will crumble. Who am I telling this to? It is already crumbling, and you, my son and heir, are a harbinger of its destruction.
Father, I'm begging you. I do not wish to marry a third time. Lydia is a good wife and a dutiful mother to my children. If you would only allow her to...
I will allow them nothing. Neither Egmont nor that freeloading wench of yours. What will you want me to do next? Live by the laws of the lowborn? I can already see where this is going, and I'd rather run my own sword through my gut than live in a country where nobles and lowlifes share the same rights.
I can help with that. I'm a volunteer. I wouldn't want you to get your hands dirty in the process, Gramps.
My only dream is to see the name of Brant in the Blue Book, but that dream will never come true, and they will never call me Venerable L. Brant, and it's all because of this marriage of yours. My only hope now is to hear Stefan addressed in such a manner one day. Thank the twins I didn't let you ruin the boy. He's about to grow up a true nobleman. His children will bear the name of L. Brant.
You have 2 more grandsons.
Those spineless milksops from the common lot, they're incapable of anything. The best your middle son can do is sneak into the Imperial College and get ennobled by the mantle. Although, I have grave doubts about even that. As for the downtrodden Nathan, I hold out no hope for him whatsoever.
You hear grandfather's heavy footsteps, the thudding of his cane, the slamming of the door. It's time to sneak back home before you're discovered. Power!
Power.
Current balance of power in Magra, and who rules the province. Old nobility in power, overseer in power, struggle for power. We're going full reign of fucking terror. Oh no. Well, let's see if we can avoid that. We all know how that ended for Robespierre. And everyone else, not well. School begins. You started studying at the school of Sir Tibor and began to master the sciences. A storm of expectations. Finally, the day comes when the teachers stop coming to the house. But before you can breathe a sigh of relief and put away the books, Father asks you to come to his study. You have grown, my son. It's time for you to continue your education away from home. I've chosen a deserving school for you. Sir Tibor's School for the children of noblemen and well-off commoners. Naturally, it is not a boarding school for nobles, so you will study there during the day and come home in the evening. You share the news with your best friend, Thomas. Sir Tibor's School, eh? Yeah, I gotta ask my parents to send me there too as soon as they get the coin together. Father says his workshop has toiled day and night for years to save up for my education. The school is based in an ancient estate of Archnean design. The classrooms are tall and spacious, with massive benches. The sounds of scraping quills and lectures on history and imperial law and theology echo under the vaulted ceilings. The rules are strict, the lessons tiring. Restless Thomas keeps getting distracted, and several times he gets his hand slapped with a stick for it. Every teacher demands flawless mastery of their subject. Every day Father asks you about your studies. You've already told him twice how Magra joined the Empire, how the noble's court of honor is different from the commoner's civil court and the city of prefecture. We're in the city prefecture. I'm adding words. Normally I take words away, but Father keeps pressuring you to work even harder. When it is time to go to bed, Mother will not let you go to sleep until you recite a newly learned prayer for her. And when it is time to go to school, you promise her every day that you will behave with great humility and steer clear of insolent behavior of any kind. For you still live by the commoner's lot, and that lot is hard work and suffering. Your first month in school draws to a close, and the teachers announce that there will be exams at the end of the month to determine the best and worst students in each subject. Father insists that you devote all your spare time to studying law and history if you wish to follow in his footsteps. But when you speak to Mother every day, you start considering theology. You still remember the revelations and divine visions that came to you in your earliest years. Hello, Optimisticator, how you doing? Appreciate that raid. You have only one more day until the exam. You've locked yourself away in your room. It is already getting late. Your desk is covered with handwritten notes, surrounded by leather-bound books. Just looking at them makes you queasy, but you have to read through all of them again, at least for one of your subjects. There is a nagging thought on your mind. Thomas ended up in big trouble the other day. He got in a fight with several boys who lived next street. They heard about your wooden fortress and got outraged by the fortification built by commoners. They swore to dismantle it tonight. Thomas swore he would defend the fortress until the end. Perhaps you should abandon the books to rescue a friend in need. But then you hear your little brother Nathan knocking at the door. He stands there shyly, not saying a word. He often does that, standing still and staying speechless until either you speak first or he runs away. But this time he actually says something. The door is locked. Are you okay, Butterball? Is there anything I could do to help? Your head is spinning. This is the last evening before the school exam. If you fail, your family will be very disappointed. You have to refresh your memory on law or theology. Either one or the other. But Thomas and your fort are about to be stormed. Why today of all days? You grind your teeth in rage at the thought. Nathan's by the door, trying not to bother you. He wants to help you the only way he can. For reasons known only to him. Will you accept his help? Fine. We have 4 choices. Focus on law and history, go help Thomas, study theology, or spend a moment with Nathan. I mean, your streams lately, so I wanted to send some love your way. Well, I appreciate that, Optimisticator. I think I recognize his name. I think you have been in chat before. At least once, because the name looks familiar. 4. Strong 4. Okay. It's unanimous. Or it is. Spend a moment with Nathan. You put everything away and accept your brother's offer of help. You cannot help but pay attention to your brother's quiet, weak voice. You push the books away. Nathan runs to you and wraps his arm around your legs. They should just leave you alone. I don't want you to get sick. Warmth emanates from his hands. You feel the burden of the responsibilities thrust upon you fall from your shoulders. At last you realize something. You can make your own decisions rather than submitting to the will of others. You laugh at this realization and feel a new spring in your step. Nathan laughs with joy when he feels this. He takes your hand and pulls you outside. You've studied enough. You spend the rest of the evening playing with your little brother, teaching him how to build a watchtower out of wooden planks, sticks, and old rags behind the house. Nathan's success in the construction leaves much to be desired, unlike his skill in covering himself with mud. Still, he is absolutely overjoyed. The morning comes. You barely have time to wake up before you are walking to the menacing edifice of the school. The entire day is a constant flow of questions, demanding answers. You give satisfactory responses on law and history, although you are somewhat confused by the many technicalities and chronological orders. Your knowledge of the interpretations of the law leaves much to be desired. Your parents are dissatisfied with your performance. You know that you could have worked harder. Oh, it's not a failure, I guess. Still, you believe yesterday was not a waste. Alright. If it wasn't a complete failure, that could have been worse. Willpower has increased by 10. Full of power. Alright, now we have enough we can make some decisions. Hopefully important ones. Or frivolous ones, who the hell knows. Fate is fickle. Noble titles. Your education continues. As you study imperial law, you come to realize that there is a certain hierarchy, even within the noble's estate. It seems your father's status is not quite equal to that of the more eminent human and Archnean gentry. You return home with this new information at your disposal. Father asks you about school after dinner, as he always does. And what is the difference between nobles of the mantle and those of the sword, Butterball? You already have an answer ready. The latter's status is hereditary. meaning that it is passed down from father to son. After the Arachneans, nobles of the sword are the most eminent humans in the Empire. They own land and estates, they fill offices of the highest ranks, and the names of their bloodlines are preserved within the Great Blue Book. Ability of the sword can only be granted by the overseer of the province, or the emperor himself.
And how are such eminent people addressed?
With the honorific L before their last name, you respond. Sir Augustus L. Bourne, for example. Father pats you on the shoulder, clearly pleased.
And what about the Arachneans and their status? What have you learned about them?
The Arachneans stand above all human gentry. They are born to rule over humans, regardless of their titles. No L is required when addressing them. They need no honorifics, for the names of their ancient dynasties are known to all. Father nods somberly.
Yes, we can never be their equals. Do whatever an Arachnean tells you and never defy them, ever. And what about grandfather and me? Where do we stand as nobles?
That is easy. Father and grandfather are nobles of the mantle. This title cannot be inherited, but it can be earned by any commoner as a reward for great service to the Empire, in the Legion, or as a civil servant. Father suddenly grows quiet and looks you in the eye intently.
Yes, and someday you will earn a noble title too, son. All in due time.
Sons of the Nobility. Sir Tibur's school teaches children of all stripes. Nobles of the mantle and low-born parents can send their sons here. Every passing day, the children of noblemen invent new ways to snub and bully the commoners. Most of the time, the bully leading them is Diederik, a son of the secretary for the Imperial Chancellery, and a self-important slob. The sons of noblemen never pick on you, however. They know that your father hasn't been ennobled by the mantle. However, Diederik and his retinue soon choose Thomas as their favored victim. Time and time again, you ask your friend not to pay them any mind. But again and again, Thomas grows angry and snaps at their self-satisfied mockery. It is early morning. The students are busy flocking to the classroom for the next lesson. You wave Thomas over when you see him. He waves back at you, and then a bucket full of slop splashes on him. Needless to say, it is the work of Diederik and his entourage. You hear his familiar creaky laughter. The tailor's son stinks. How dare he sit next to decent folk? Thomas clenches his fist. You're dead, Diederik. He throws himself at Diederik's haughty entourage like a soldier ready to wage war. He attacks them first. This is just what they expected. They are free to retaliate. He barely makes one movement before 4 pairs of hands grab him at once. Diederik sneers and kicks your friend in the belly. Thomas gasps for air and starts coughing. You stand between them as Diederik readies another kick. The nobleman's son cocks an eyebrow. Why do you mingle with commoners? He asks. Your father is a noble of the mantle. You ought to be friends with your own kind. Your equals, not to do it beneath your feet. Behind him, 4 boys hold Thomas down as he struggles furiously. The other students are watching you, frozen in fear. Diederik haughtily extends a hand to you. He clearly expects you to shake it. What will you do? Alright, chat. 1, 2, or 3. Challenge Diederik to a fight. Turn him over to the teachers. Admonish the nobleman's sons. Whew. We're gonna die again. There's gotta be a second death here. Somewhere in this chapter I can die again. I'm pretty sure of it. 3. 1. You have a 1. A 1 sneaking in. Oh, we have a tie. 1s and 3s. Oh, 1s will barely edge it out. Okay. 3s will make a comeback. Damn you, Teasy. Damn you. You've been waiting for this, haven't you? Alright, it's tied. It comes down to a coin flip again. Heads again. Goes to the first option. So we are going with 1s. 1s have taken it. You challenge the nobleman's son to single combat.
We're gonna die. He's gonna pull a knife and shake our ass.
You do not shake his hand. Instead, you challenge Diederik to display at least some dignity by fighting you one-on-one. That is if he considers himself a nobleman's son, of course. Hey, we admonished him too, look at that. We got both of them, a twofer. Diedrich's face grows serious. There was no way for him to refuse his challenge in public. Diedrich makes a sign, and Thomas is released and pushed to the floor. He gets back on his feet, cursing and itching to rush at them again, but you hold your friend back. The teacher of Imperial Law comes into the room just in time. Everybody immediately returns to their seats. A day full of lessons begins. You keep daydreaming of Diedrich's face, and how you are going to put an end to that nasty smile of his. What if he's a better fighter? Let's catch that bastard together. You and clean his clock. He hurt me, not you. The deal has been made, you tell your friend. This is a matter of your honor now. Thomas huffs angrily, but agrees. Diedrich is already waiting for you in a narrow back street by the school, his retinue by his side. You walk forward and give him an opportunity to end this dispute once and for all. This is the nobleman's way. If you win this battle, Diedrich and the other children of nobles will never pick on the commoners' sons again. If he wins, you will never stand in their way and protect other students. We're more of a thinker than a fighter, chat. Well, this is going to be a rough one. I'm determining the fate for the entire school, and I don't know if we know how to throw a punch or not. We need like a mad haymaker in there. That's what we need. You will fight him one-on-one. Diedrich walks forward uncertainly. You both roll up your sleeves. You raise your fists in a fighting stance. Diedrich tries to copy your movements. You hit him first. Diedrich does manage to land several glancing blows, but he is fighting a losing battle. He has never been in a real street fight. Thomas nods in approval. You have learned a lot from him. It does not take long for Diedrich to stop fighting back. One more blow and he squeals and raises his hands. You have won. You turn to the other nobleman's sons, with a victorious look on your face. No more teasing. And if anyone else says so much as one bad word about Thomas, they'll pay. Diedrich's former retinue disperses silently. We did it! We're a fighter! We know how to brawl and battle! Hey, that's our highest relationship so far. Yeah, look at that, childhood friend indeed. I wonder if we get any determination for that. No, I guess determination's kind of off. I guess we don't gain perception or determination anymore. That's childhood stuff. Now it's nobility and intelligence or ingenuity. Our nobility has increased. Damn, we are noble. One more. Actually, we need one more point. We are actually noble. At least somewhat noble. Kind of noble. We took the throw hands feat. Yes, we did. We're good at throw hands now. We've been in like 2 fights our entire life. Is the tree supposed to make that noise? Your theology teachers tell you more about Enazant. It is more than just the provincial capital. It is also a sacred place blessed by the gods. It is where the twin gods' first disciples spilled their blood, and from that blood grew the sacred silver tree. Its enormous foliage hangs over the city. You see its branches in the sky every day, but you have never approached the trunk of the tree yourself. Today you will be taking your first trip to the silver tree. Your class is visiting a service in the great temple by the tree's very roots. Thanks to your theology teacher, you and the other students will witness this landmark of the twins' advent up close. Everybody is excited. Soon, you and the other boys enter the slums surrounding the church district of Enazan. The roots are pulsating under your feet. They spread underground all throughout the area. Pathetic, cramped hovels and filthy streets surround the trunk of the tree. They are home to paupers, day laborers, and preachers. The people of the district bow humbly to you and point you towards the temple. They seem at peace despite the abject poverty in which they live. All who live directly beneath the tree are filled with its divine grace, your teacher says. People come here to make peace with the world and their fate in it. Your class is unusually quiet. Everyone is listening to the rustling of the leaves and the underground beating of the roots. The sky above you is obscured by the tree's canopy. You find the temple of the twin gods right next to the tremendous trunk of the tree. It almost seems a part of it. There is a crowd there, pilgrims dressed in traveling clothes, paupers and beggars, common people of the city, and the occasional well-dressed noble. There are arguments among some people, who are gathered in separate small groups. Many people are wandering around, staring upward at the tree's branches. The tree impresses you with its might, and the calm emanating from it. You are filled with a desire to sit down and think of the world, to learn something about yourself, to touch the silver white bark, hearken to the whispering leaves. It also sounds like the tree is hungering right now and might consume all of us. This game is actually quite hard. It is indeed. It's interesting. You are distracted enough to fall back from the rest of your classmates. You notice a small path. It should take you right next to the trunk. Considering I managed to die at 6 years old, it's definitely a tough game.
Whatever that sound was, it sounded like a whale.
Did it? Oh, it sounded like a great beast hungering for flesh. A tall, red-haired woman walks out of the crowd of pilgrims. She's wearing a worn white robe. She is no longer young, but her face is youthful and covered in freckles. Her hands clutch a book. You have never seen this lady pilgrim before, yet she looks at you almost as if she has recognized a lifelong friend. She beckons to you and says her name, Matilda, a preacher from Astinia. What she says next shakes you to your very core. It is commendable to see a young man so keen to learn the teachings of the twins, she says. Yet you will never follow the light of truth within the walls of the temple. Inside you will find only the lies about the lots, the erring words of Prophet Isaicius, sanctified by the passages of centuries. Yet anyone who sets out to read the accounts of the twins' own lives knows that they never so much as mention the lots. I had a feeling about that, actually, technically. You know, the whole them looking over us, Gloria and myself as a child. I'm pretty sure I already knew that. The red-haired preacher's words frighten you. They clash with everything you have heard from Mother, everything you have been taught at school. The lots are a lie. You freeze in fear, should you argue with Matilda, or ask her for more information. Or should you treat her as a madwoman and catch up with your classmates? You suddenly feel a small, warm hand grasp your own. You see a girl right next to you. She is just a little older than you, wearing a black dress, threadbare yet almost spotless. Her hair is covered by a handkerchief, with only a single golden lock showing. Her brown eyes are burning with rage, her hand pulling you away from the red-haired preacher. You stare in confusion at the strange young girl, your cheeks flushed by the sudden touch. There is just a bit of color on her cheeks too, but then she starts speaking to you quickly. Jean. Don't listen to her, she's dangerous. Come to the temple with me, only there will you see the truth. You stand there, surrounded by the crowd of praying pilgrims, the sounds of shuffling feet, torn between two people you have never seen before, and each of them expects you to follow her. But all the while you hear the whispering of the wind in the tree's branches. The branches reach out for you, almost as if the tree wishes to speak to you itself. You hear its voice. Oh, we can't give in to the epiphany. We lack insight. That's probably why. Alright, so we have options. Follow the girl into the temple, stay with the red-haired pilgrim, or leave them and approach the tree. 1, 2, or 3. 1 requires willpower. One. We have a 1. We have a 3. Sid just wants to find out if the tree's actually a whale. We have a 1, we have a 3, we have a 2. We have a 3. We have 2 3s. 3's in the lead. 3. 3s are taking it. It looks like 3s will be the winner today. My computer also chugged there real hard for a second, and I don't know why. But it seems to be fine. Red head's best, true. But today, we go with the green head. We go with the tree. Tree knows all. The tree, it knows more than any human. Let's go speak with a tree. What epiphany would be? Listen as it speaks. Oh. Like, we have the shitty version of this. Fair enough. Alright. The tree is beautiful. The silver-white foliage stretches and spreads towards the sky. Held aloft by a trunk so thick, it would be a challenge to walk around it. The leaves rustle and whisper peacefully in the wind. The tree, it seems to speak to you. You walk away from the odd-looking preacher and the young acolyte, ignoring them as they call out to you. You walk around the temple, the crowd of people, getting closer to the tree with every step. Then you extend a shaking hand and touch the bark. It is unusually warm. You can feel a pulse beneath the roots. The tree is alive. Well, no shit, that's what all trees are alive. The roots are so gigantic, they form large grottos, spaces of air embraced by the roots of the ground. You squeeze into one of these grottos. It is unusually bright and quiet, shielded from the noise of Anazat. Right now, there is only you, the tree. The tree consumes. The tree consumes. You sit down. There are leaves rustling all around you. The only noise you hear is the beating pulse of life that flows through the tree, and this pulse beats in time with your own heart. You feel clarity and calmness, free of doubt and frustration. The tree speaks to you, or are they your own thoughts? So strange, unfamiliar, and eye-opening. These thoughts speak of soothing love, and of crystal clear law, and of love and law intertwining to bring the miracle of life to you. You stop slouching and your frown becomes a light smile. Hours pass like fleeting seconds. You lose track of time until you overhear someone shouting your name. Alas, it is time to leave this grotto. The sun is setting over Anazat now. The day was quick to pass. Your teacher frowns, ready to scold you. You mumble an explanation and say you're ready to be punished for disobedience. Yet instead, the teacher nods in understanding. You keep looking back at the tree all the way home. Whatever happened to you today, you find it difficult to put it into words. Fuck, we are stacking a lot of willpower right now, which we might need later on, so that might be a good thing. We'll see. Another school day has ended. The shadows of the past. Another school day has ended. You are making your way home, still mulling over the things you learned from your teachers. The founding of the Empire. The eternal and unshakable rule of a single dynasty. The 3 estates, each with its own rights. What an odd sort of order the world has, and yet so mysterious. At least it sounds that way when your teachers talk about it. Mother is waiting for you on the porch. She smiles gently when she sees you, and yet her expression still shows great concern. Father left on a trip to several distant Megrin towns a few days ago. Since then, Mother has been trying to tell you something, but she seems uncertain.
Son, could you put your things away and come pray with me?
You join Mother in prayer to the twins. She prays with fervent sincerity, her head bowed low, reciting the words of obedience to them and their greater design in a barely audible whisper. You repeat after her, just as she has taught you ever since you were a little boy. When the prayer ends, Mother sighs and turns to you.
Butterball, my son, you are 13 now. You'll be grown soon. It is time you learn about certain things that are important to our family. Difficult things, as about your father and me, about our marriage.
You gaze curiously into Mother's eyes.
I'm sure you've wondered about this before. Your father's a nobleman of the mantle, so how could he marry a commoner with another man's child? But you see, Butterball, your father, when his first wife, Amalia Elborn, died, it was a painful blow to him. He lost the will to live, lost all purpose. He felt like his own destiny was cut short that day as well. And then he met me. You know the troubles I had in the past. I went to the prefecture as a petitioner to ask them for help, protection, and justice. When I was a young girl, I worked at a small shop that sold crockery and dishes. A nobleman took a liking to me, may his name be forever forgotten. The twins know I was humble and honored, his lot to the rule, but he took me by force.
Mother falls silent, summoning the courage to continue.
Gloria is that nobleman's daughter, but he was outraged. How could I have the gall to burden him with low-born progeny? He turned me out on the street, with that little baby girl in my arms.
Mother's voice is shaking now. You take her hand tenderly.
I had no home, no honor, nowhere to go, no one to help me. When I went to the prefecture, I didn't really think the judges there would help me find justice against my former master. But when Sir Robert heard my plea, his eyes met mine, and I believe that, at that very moment, the twins themselves granted him the gift of their love. Your father told me that there was nothing he could do to make that detestable nobleman marry me, but he would never abandon me and baby Gloria, and if I agreed, he would take me into his own home.
Tears are running down Mother's cheeks.
And I knew it, my son. I knew how much his honor and reputation would suffer, but caring for me brought him back to life. It's like he experienced another sacrament. He rediscovered his noble purpose, his lot to rule and protect and care for others. But his decision to marry me, He is still paying for it today. Your father had the courage to defy your grandfather, the founder of his bloodline. If only you knew how much he had to endure, my son. If only you knew the despicable rumors we heard about the Brants all over Anazot. It was only thanks to the efforts of Sir Gregor that the Brant bloodline managed to hang on to what little remained of its reputation. And now the noble families have all but forgotten about that scandal. Thank the twins.
Mother falls silent. She looks at you intently. You understand what she is telling you.
My son, I'm not telling you this just to share the pain of my past. I have no reason to complain. Even Sir Gregor has accepted me through gritted teeth. But you need to understand the heavy burden of our family must bear, including our scandalous marriage and Gloria's foul origin.
Appreciate that. The CJS. Weed guy. What a guy. What a guy. Appreciate that, tier 1. Oh, good. The bot's still fucked. Perfect.
And Gloria, she can never be a Brant, even if the elder Brants agreed. The news would stir up the old scandal in the minds of high society. And if that were to happen, Butterball, they would see even your birth as illegitimate.
Mother sighs heavily.
What I told you just now is something you have to know, son. You are about to enter adult life. By my lot, I must be humble. I cannot tell you how to treat your family. But may I ask you a question? Now that you know all of this, do you still see Gloria as your sister?
We have 3 options, one of which will use willpower. Accept Gloria as your sister. Distance yourself from Gloria. Or evade the question. 1, 2, or 3. 1, 1. 2, 1. One. Already stood up for her, so she might as well be true. Twice, actually. 1. Alright, 1 seemed to take it by a landslide. Regardless of her origins, Gloria will always be family. Gloria's a day 1 homie. True. She was there for us as a baby. And she did help us a few times, so. Filled with determination, you assure Mother that Gloria is and will always be your sister. You want Gloria to be a Brant too. You want her to be a part of your family. Who cares what the nobles of Anazant say? Mother beams with quiet joy when she hears this. And also, technically speaking, the twins are also watching over Gloria. I think she might be more important than the story is letting on so far. Considering the twins, the gods, were standing over her, holding her shoulder. I think she might be somewhat important here.
Oh, Butterball, if only you knew how happy that would make me, to have our family united at last.
However, the joy of her face quickly gives way to concern.
But I already owe good Sir Robert a debt I can never repay. He's given my daughter so much, a home and education, his care and advice. The Brant bloodline could suffer so much from Gloria's existence. We should all just learn to accept her status as it is.
Just then, you hear Gloria carefully knock at the door of Mother's chambers. Mother, Butterball, I couldn't find you. You happily greet your sister. Yes, she is your sister. No old secrets can ever change that. Mother gives you and Gloria a kiss on the forehead and returns to her prayers. You and your sister walk downstairs, together. Mother is alone by her bedside now, thanking the twins with a quiet prayer for the Brant family they have given her. You hope they can hear her. Hey, +3. That's 2 +3s we have now. Her and Thomas. We're doing great, chat. We're doing damn great. Hey, look, Ma doesn't hate us anymore. Look at that, Ma no longer hates us. Fantastic. Good. Ooh, fall. The flash and the flame. We're a teen, it's official. You are 13 now. Another theology lesson. Today's sermon is about the priests and why the clergy is only one of three estates. Is the only one of three estates with the right to interpret the laws and guide the other two estates accordingly. Thomas sits next to you, huffing and puffing as he fervently writes down the teacher's every word. But you've heard all of this from Mother many times before, so you take this moment to daydream a little. Father promised to take you to the capital once your studies are complete. But the teacher suddenly casts a stern look around the lecture hall and raises his voice at one of your classmates. A boy by the name of Brian jumps out of his seat. The teacher asks him to repeat what he had just said. Brian freezes and seems to shrink. He tries to muster a reply, but nothing comes out. The class becomes agitated. Someone is about to get punished. The teacher now looms over Brian. The boy's cheeks are flushed, and his eyes are covered in tears. You all watch the teacher's iron-bound book as he raises it sharply, about to strike. Brian shrieks and raises a hand in front of him. A sudden flash. The teacher screams and buries his face in his arms. His hair is ablaze and his skin is covered in horrible burns. It's magic. Real magic, just like in the books about the Magra Rebellion. The class freezes in shock. There is a dull thud as the iron-bound book falls to the floor. Brian's hysterical laughter rends the silence. He stands up from his bench, fire in his eyes, and sparks on his fingertips. There are screams now. Students run for the door. The teacher tries to extinguish his burning hair. Brian snaps his fingers, and the books of Visatius on the desk turn to pillars of flame. He laughs and raises his arms. The curtains catch fire. The screams grow louder as the fire howls. Brian's face is tense and violent. His mouth is spewing flames, and his whole body is shaking with laughter. He steps toward the door. You and Thomas glance at each other. He's going to burn the whole school down. Your friend's determination makes you brave. You run behind Brian and knock him off his feet. You both tumble to the floor. Even through his clothes, his body sears your flesh. Brian screams, convulses, and grabs Thomas by the shoulders with his burning hands. Thomas howls but stays put, then knocks Brian senseless with several fierce blows to the head. There are servants fussing around the room now. They put out the fire and take away the teacher, his body covered in horrible burns. You and Thomas remain next to Brian, who is lying on the floor, silent. Soon 3 men in black cloaks enter the doors of the school, each bearing an edict sealed with silver. The Inquisition. You and Thomas are told to step away from the witch. They lock Brian's neck in a silver collar and take him away. One of the Inquisitors remains behind to tell the students what happened. That was magic, he explains. The ungodly power that twists the minds of men into savage instruments of murder. Only the sacred shackles of silver can hold it at bay. Only the power of the twins can save us all from its evil grasp. The next day, you are forbidden from ever mentioning Brian's name again. He is no more. Oh. How did our relation go up from that? I didn't even make a decision. I guess that's an automatic one. Okay. Well, we're affection. We've hit our first +4. We have no status with him yet, though. Which is surprising. I'm assuming if we had went to defend the fort with him, that would have made him grateful. Probably. I don't know what those statuses actually mean yet, though. So, maybe future interactions that open up or close, perhaps. Maybe. We can date him now, right? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. The Nobleman's Lot. A great day looms ahead. 100 years ago, Uther Tempest was anointed to rule over the Empire. Blessed by the twins themselves, the Emperor's reign continues into its 2nd century. Celebrations in honor of the Tempest dynasty are held throughout the city, and the school is closed for 2 weeks because of that. On one of these evenings, Father tells everyone that Grandfather is going to bring Stefan back home for the holiday. They say families should celebrate the day of anointment together. You could benefit from your elder brother's company. With his noble education, Stefan might be able to teach you how noblemen are supposed to... No. Bad me. Bad. No. Bad idea. No. Slap him instead. Soon Stefan arrives. He now handles himself differently. When it comes to ordering servants around and ignoring Gloria, he is still Grandfather's double. But he is more grown up now, and far less haughty to you. It is a dark winter evening. A damp, cold wind sweeps through the city from the barren lands of Magra. You and Stefan are sitting in the library. He is telling you all about Eterna, the capital of the Empire. It is full of so many wonders. The Imperial Palace, the enormous Temple of the Twins, the Military Academy, the Imperial College. You've read so much about these places, yet he has seen them firsthand. Nathan enters the library. He looks concerned. I can't find Gloria. I looked everywhere. She's not in the attic, not in the sitting room, not in the kitchen. I heard she wanted to sneak off to the ruins of Char Milonitis' palace. She could be lost in there. You and Stefan exchange looks. Char Milonitis, the rebellious duke. The ruins of his palace are a dangerous place. Some children claim his tainted magic still lingers there, which means you absolutely have to make your way there and back again to prove you were not afraid of the long-dead witch. Your brother tells you to wait. He leaves and soon returns with his sword in its sheath. Get ready, Butterball, we're going to rescue Gloria. She must have gone to the ruins in search of inspiration for another one of her little rhymes. The two of you instruct Nathan to tell your parents you've gone for a walk in the square. You and your elder brother head outside. Is Stefan turning into less of an asshole? That's weird. I don't like it. You are confused by Stefan's actions. He refuses to treat Gloria like a human being, so why is he still so determined to rescue her? Stefan notices your expression. Probably honor and glory. Are you wondering why I care about Gloria all of a sudden? I can't act in any other way, can I? The law of honor compels me to protect my family. Gloria will never be a Brant, but father still took her into our house. I must respect his seniority and defend Gloria like she is one of our own. You are a Brant too, noble or not, which means it is your duty to aid me. Well, I mean, he is still a little bit of a son of a bitch, but he's getting better, you know. Do we name ourselves Butterball, or is that part of the... No, that was a deep personal choice by me. I chose that. That was me. Alright. The ruins of Char Milonitis' palace span an entire district. The palace was abandoned centuries ago, and its remnants are overgrown with thick underbrush. The ruined palace is empty, nothing but cold wind blowing over crumbling brickwork. Even the worst scum of the land steer clear of this place. You make your way through the ruins until you spot scattered sheets of paper covered in writing. Your sister's writing. You hear loud laughter coming from behind a dilapidated stone wall nearby. You pull yourself up to peer over it. Gloria is lying on the ground, face down, twitching and sobbing. A gaggle of drunk young thugs surround her, cackling and swinging their arms about. You hear their shouts. Look at the lass sitting here rhyming words together. She thinks she's all noble. But don't you worry, you lowborn tart. We're going to teach you your place. One of the louds spits at Gloria as she lies there. Get away from her this instant, you bastards, or I'll spill your guts. They respond with mocking laughter. Stefan draws his sword. Chad, our next opportunity to die. Fantastic. Well, they say the third one's the easiest. The street thugs recoil in fear, but they soon notice that he is one armed man against many. They start reaching out for sticks and stones. Stay by my side, don't let them flank me! Stefan's hand shakes, but he looks ready for battle. He is outnumbered. For a moment you hesitate. Perhaps it might be better to run for the nearby district and call for guards. The young thugs are already armed with makeshift weapons. They start approaching you and Stefan cautiously. Ah, dear. Oh, we have bad blood with him. That's problematic. Alright, so 1 or 2. We can charge the attackers, or we can call the guards. Run! So we have a 2. What else have we? One. Do either one cost anything? Nope. The only one that costs anything is the one we can't choose. We got one. We've got ones. We've got ones. Okay. Alright, well, looks like one is a... Okay. You grab the heaviest rock you can find and get ready to fight. Well, we were honestly, when we died at age 6, we knew it was going to be a long shot getting to adulthood alive. But, you know, I mean, we still got one more life after this. That'll last us a bit, right? The lout's trying to flank Stefan and surround him. Your brother's sword thrusts and feints methodically, like in a training bout. The thugs keep dodging and jumping away. They've managed to stay safe so far. If things continue like this, soon one of them will flank Stefan, pick the sword out of his hand and bring him down. The ruffians are paying no attention to you, however. For For a moment, you want nothing more than to run away. You belong to the common lot. You are not allowed to fight, to bear arms. But then you take one more look at Stefan, who is almost surrounded, and a Gloria sprawled out on the ground. I can't act in any other way, can I? Your brother's words ring in your ears. You cannot run. You have to help him, no matter what. You pull a heavy rock out of the old wall. The tow-headed leader of the gang appears behind Stefan's back, ready to knock him down. No time to think. It takes you 3 steps to get to the foe. No time to think. You bash the thug in the head with the rock. The wretch stumbles and falls down. Stefan seizes an opportunity to strike and lunges at the louts. They scatter under his blows. You hear screams and the swishing of the sword. You assault them too, swinging away with the heavy rock, until you catch something pointy in the side.
Well, it was a good life.
A wave of pain washes over you. Blood starts flowing down your side and onto your leg. Stefan shouts something, but your mind is already fading fast. When the darkness disperses, you find yourself lying in your bed. Stefan is in the armchair next to you reading a book. He is alive, with left arm in a sling and a black eye, but still alive. As for you, it hurts so much when you try to breathe. You cannot help but moan, quietly. Stefan looks up from the book.
Don't try and get up, you lost a lot of blood. Fortunately, the Archduke's guards got there too late to see you swinging that boulder around. They'd have shown you no mercy otherwise. But I'm impressed, Butterball. You were unarmed, but you still fought them. You acted in defiance of your lot, that much is certain, but you fought for our family's honor. You know, brother, a nobleman's lot is also a great burden that few are able to bear. It takes courage, not to fight everything you see, but to do your duty. Each and every decision a nobleman makes becomes a part of his family's legacy, flowing in the blood tide forever. I think about it often. A nobleman mustn't act weak. A nobleman mustn't suffer like people of the low-born lot. A nobleman must rule over them wisely. A noble must ensure that they have work to do. It's not merely your own lot you have to look after. You have to ensure that 1,000 others can live by their lot as well. And there are so many more matters to take care of. Honor, dignity, tradition. It's tough, but it's what it takes to be a nobleman. You understand what I'm talking about? For the first time in a long while, your brother looks at you as an equal. It was a pleasure to fight side by side. I'm glad you and I are brothers.
Hey, look, we no longer have bad blood, and our brother doesn't completely hate us anyway. Is he turning around? Are they subverting? Is he becoming a not son of a bitch? That feels weird, man. Well, we still have Grandpa to hate. Don't worry, chat. Still got Grandpa. We'll shank him someday. Actually, no, I'm going to beat him to death with his cane. Or my cane, if I have a cane. I'm going to beat him to death with my cane. That's what we're going to do. Well, we didn't die by some fucking miracle. Uh-oh. Well, we might be executed for swinging a weapon here, though. Well, hopefully we don't get called for testimony. We're gonna get called for testimony. We're gonna die, chat. Before long, the entire city hears how a gang of low-born thugs assaulted Stefan Brante. Grandfather ensures that the brash young men are found. Some of them are taken into custody as soon as lesser death releases them. Grandfather seeks vengeance on those who hurt his favorite grandson. Prefect Elborn, a friend of your family, promises to personally oversee the trial and ensure that justice is served. That seems like a conflict of interest to me, but I think impartiality's out of the window in this system. Stefan and Grandfather decide to stay in Enizot until the trial ends. Grandfather demands true death for every single assailant. You ask Father to explain something. How can a legal court sentence criminals to true death? How can worldly judgment overrule the twins' law? Your words are true, my son. Their law is second to none. Oh, yeah. Yet the twin gods also made the empire and all its ways. The court of law exists to execute the laws of heaven here in the world. Should the court of law sentence a person to death, the law high above will always enforce it, and so every execution brings true death. Oh, I think they have the wrong one here. I think this is Grandpa talking. Oh well.
The commoners who assaulted Stefan...
We're going to assume that's the case, because this seems like weird commentary for Robert.
The commoners who assaulted Stefan, a born nobleman, have committed a grave offense. There was no doubt about that. And yet, according to the Emperor's decree, even commoners have the right to defend themselves when they are about to face true death. This means that all of us will have to appear at the trial and testify before the court.
Or maybe that was Father. I don't know. That was kind of weird. Was it Father? I couldn't tell. It was one of the two. Evening comes. Gloria visits your room. She looks crestfallen, and her fingers keep reaching for her long hair. You put away your school books and ask what is bothering her. The trial is tomorrow. I thought I was going to appear there too, as an eyewitness. After all, this whole mess started because of me. But Sir Robert isn't even going to mention that I was there. Can you imagine? He says it would ruin the case. Why am I always in the way? Nobody ever mentions me. Nobody has to listen to me. It's like I don't even exist. And I thought Stefan standing up for me finally meant something. Maybe I will become part of the family. But no, everything is back to usual now. Gloria tries her best to hold back the tears. You do your best to comfort her. Father just needs to keep the family out of trouble. If Sir Robert believes that I only bring trouble, why did he take me into the house at all? Gloria runs away. You return to your books, but you can't help but get lost in thought. What if they told the court you weren't there either? How would you feel then? There is a knock at the door. It is Father. He closes the door behind him and sits next to you. There is an exhausted look about him.
Son, you will be testifying before the court tomorrow. Please remember what I'm about to tell you. Gloria wasn't at the ruins at all. You went there with your brother to inspect this historic site. The low-born men insulted Stefan first and then attacked him. Stefan had managed to deal with the assailants on his own by the time the guards intervened. Gloria will cast suspicion on the case. If we mention her very existence to the court, the reputation of the family will suffer. Your grandfather will never forgive me if that happens. Do not let me down. We're all counting on you.
You recall the night of the fight like it was moments ago. Gloria sprawled under the feet of those cackling thugs, her poetry, her greatest treasure, scattered on the ground. She thinks she's all noble. Those were the words they spat down at her. But doesn't grandfather mean the same thing when he denies that she is a part of the family? But if you do what Father tells you, the trial will end quickly. Those commoners will face true death for assaulting a noble. If you mention Gloria, things will get complicated, and you cannot predict how the trial will end. Which is more important to you? What is right, or what is just? We have three options. Support Father, lie to Father, or convince Father to change his mind, which costs willpower. 1, 2, or 3. We have a 3. 3. That's strong 3s. Okay. Alright then. We have a 2. It's a firm, defiant 2. 3s will take. Oh, that's gonna be a tough hit to the relations. Oh, we were actually at 4 with Father. I guess he was our first 4. Well, fair enough. You were determined to change Father's opinion and make sure Gloria gets the fair treatment she deserves. You look Father straight in the eye, and you tell him what you think. You are not going to bear false witness in court. He is a judge himself. How can he make you lie to Sir Elborn? And what of Gloria? Is she not a Brant too? Does she not deserve justice? Or maybe grandfather is right, and she's just a freeloader who deserves nothing but shame. If so, then how come Father agreed to take her into his home, under his protection? Saying this to Father is tough. Deep inside you pray he hears no weakness in your voice, and sees no blood rushing to your cheeks. But it seems he is listening to you intently. The wrinkles on his forehead grow deeper, as his fingers stammer out a staccato against the armrest.
This is going to be tough, son, but you're right. You're right. I took Gloria into my home, and so I must protect her like my own daughter. This was my decision, and I must stand by it. I will speak with Stefan in the morning. Now I pray your grandfather never hears of my change of heart.
The day comes. The trial takes place in the lesser hall of the city prefecture. Sir Elborn himself presides as the judge. You were the first to testify to the court. You tell the court the truth about that night. How the thugs humiliated Gloria, how Stefan and you came to help her, and how Stefan defended his half-sister. Out of the corner of your eye, you watch grandfather's face grow red, yet he remains silent. There are confused whispers in the hall. The commoners on trial cry out. It's the truth. Gloria was reciting poetry, and they simply told her she was defying her lot. The situation has changed. By this account, Stefan was not acting in defense of himself or another. He merely assaulted them first in order to retaliate against those who had insulted his half-sister. You spread your feet to stand firm and hail before you speak next. You ask the hall, is it not a nobleman's duty to honor his family's name? Gloria does not have the Brant name, but your father took her into his home. Therefore, it was Stefan's duty to protect her, as he would have protected any of you. Contemptuous chuckles rushed through the courtroom. You have just reminded the city of father's shameful second marriage. Stefan is to testify next. He reluctantly confirms your testimony, glancing at father and grandfather all the while. His arm in the sling is his main argument. Stefan wanted the commoners to stop insulting Gloria, yet in the end, the commoners were the first to assault him. Technically true. After a short recess, Sir Elborn returns and raises to deliver his sentence.
The Court of Adazot finds you guilty of assaulting Stefan Elbrant, a nobleman who stood in defense of the honor of Gloria, a member of his household. All 4 defendants are sentenced to true death by hanging.
There is no wind, but you feel a gust sweep through the hall. The defendants turn pale. Their mothers are bawling and crying. Everybody in the court feels the dreadful power of the law. And it is stern and just. That very power has been invoked by this sentence. And by that very sentence, the lives of the 4 young men are literally forfeit for all eternity. The gallows await. Stefan stands in the front row. Father stands next to him. The wood creaks. The trapdoors open under the young men's feet. They dangle in the air, wheezing and reaching out for support with their feet in their final moments. Grandfather's silence ends at home. He screams at you and father, at Stefan and Gloria. This trial is a disgrace. His screams are punctuated by the thudding of his walking stick against the floor. Father says they had to defend their family. It would have truly been a disgrace if they had shirked their responsibilities. Stefan excuses himself to bandage his arm in order to stay out of the argument. Gloria is quiet, but glowing. You stay quiet too. It is all over now. It is all over now. Nobody bullies Gloria on the streets anymore. Those 4 commoners are dead forever. Their families were taught a cruel lesson. So will it be with anyone who dares to raise his hand against a nobleman.
Oh no! Oh jeez, we lost. Oh, he doesn't like us. Oh, shucks, Grandpa doesn't like us even more. Now what do we do? What do we do? Jeez. Distaste. As if he didn't feel that before. We're just making sure his alignment actually reflects his character towards us now. That's all. That's it's easy, no problem. Reputation. Well, I mean, technically, tarnished honor. Well, to be fair, we're no worse off than we started the game. We gained 1 reputation in my childhood, and we've lost that. So technically, we haven't gone any lower than where we started. Unity has gone up, though. A little disagreements, but you know. So we basically just flipped this. In our childhood, we did this the other way. Now we're back to basically where we started, essentially. Fantastic. I don't know. Maybe. Our nobility has increased, though. I am now noble. Our spirituality has increased. We are a searcher. Our willpower decreased by 5, you know. But we were pretty stacked on willpower anyway. We needed to use some or we risked losing it, so that's fine. Considering you can get up to 10 for an event. Forbidden Love. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Conditions met. Nobility greater than or greater or equal to 4. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Another day of school is behind you. You are now wandering your district, taking your time before going home. It is getting dark. Soon you are walking past the splendid mansion of Count El Velasco, one of Magra's richest landlords. You hear a familiar voice from the other side of the iron fence. It is Stefan's voice. It is followed by the sound of a young lady laughing. You peek through the fence and into the mansion's garden, and indeed, there you see your elder brother, dressed like he is going to meet the Emperor himself. He is currently busy helping a pretty young lady out of the window. She locks him in an emotional embrace. You recognize her, Maria El Velasco, Count El Velasco's daughter. And as the whole city knows, she is already betrothed to another young nobleman from a far more illustrious family.
Oh, Maria, I thought I would help you come down to earth from your heavenly abode, but your very touch brings me to the heavens. Oh, what a flirter. What a flatterer. Alright, so it's not our forbidden love. That's good, because there weren't a lot of qualifiers for that one right now. He picks the Count's daughter up and holds her in the air. She laughs almost imperceptibly. He kisses him on the cheek, but then Stefan takes her by the chin and turns her to face him. Their lips join in a kiss. A flurry of emotion washes over you as you watch it happen. Don't be weird about it, Butterball. Don't be weird about it. Stefan is putting the reputation of his entire family at risk, acting so frivolously with the Count's daughter. They turn the Count's influence against all the Brants, and yet Stefan always speaks so highly of noble bearing, and composure, and family honor. Stefan's face is glowing with joy. Your older brother, he is happy, truly happy. You have never seen Stefan like this, as his arms hold the Count's daughter in a tender embrace, so gently, as though he fears to hurt her. And Maria reciprocates his feelings. Must you really rob them of their secret joy? If you ever speak to him about this, no one else must hear it. You wait by the gate patiently, until Stefan decides to return from his escapades. He is startled when he finally notices you, standing by the gate. Don't make it weird, Butterball. Yeah. Not a statement I ever thought I would ever have to say in my life, but I make up new sentences all the time. Alright, we have a choice. Remind him what a nobleman's honor means, or aid Stefan in his cause. 1 or 2. We have a 2. 2. And they say romance is dead. Not here, it's not. 2. Romance is very much alive. Dice. We got 2s. There ain't no dice here. Alright. 2s take it. We shall aid Stefan in his cause. You promise you will keep brother's secret. What are you doing here at this late hour, Butterball? Is there something you wish to tell me? You confessed to Stefan what you saw. Start over. You confessed to Stefan that you saw him today in the El Velasco garden with the Count's daughter. This affair puts both families' honor at risk, yet you say you are happy for it. You can see how much he cares for her. No matter what, it is worth the risk. Stefan can trust you with his secret, you assure him. The two of you will keep it together. Stefan reacts to you with anger at first, but your supportive words calm him down. You've got all the makings of a professional spy, but you're right. The risk is too great. Your aid will not go amiss. You are no nobleman yet, but I hope your word is worth my trust. From that day on, you help Stefan and Maria avoid attention on many occasions. You even have to distract El Velasco's manservants and lead them away on a wild goose chase through the district. In the end, you are never caught, and you and your brothers yet another night with his beloved. They are both aware that the days of their hidden love are numbered. But how will your escapades affect the family's reputation? You and your brother agree. Whatever happens, happens. Young love is worth the risk. Spirituality has increased. Ingenuity has increased. We're getting smarter, chat. Getting very smart. Too smart for our own good. Probably. Stefan's disgrace event has happened. Oh. Oh, okay. This is just... Oh, okay, I see. They haven't discovered it yet. We discover. Okay. Well, that's a weird way to put that. It's just a real weird way to put that. It's real weird. I thought they got discovered already. We didn't do a very good job if that were the case. It hasn't even been a year yet. Alright, we have 2 more events for our adolescents. Agony. Stefan leaves soon after the trial, alone. Grandfather does not go with him. For the first time in a long while, he lingers in the house for more than a fortnight. Father says Sir Gregor is ill and needs rest. Oh, no, I wanted to do it. Several months go by, and it becomes clear that grandfather will not recover. The eldest Brant is mostly bedridden now. On some days, he has trouble recognizing people. When he means to address you or Nathan, he calls you Robert, your father's name. He probably had a stroke in the court when he was really angry. You know, when his face got all red, it was probably a stroke. About damn time. So we did technically do this to him. We got him. We got him. But when he does get out of bed, the house grows empty. The servants hide. Mother locks herself in her chambers. You and Nathan run outside or hide quietly in your rooms. If grandfather sees anyone in the hallway, he begins lamenting. Oh, nobody heeds the lots any longer. Any harlot with a child can marry a nobleman these days. Children have no respect. His son betrayed him and let him down. And oh, how the Brant family has lost its honor. Again and again you hear grandfather knocking at Mother's door, screaming that it's all her fault. He blames her for ruining his chances to find bliss in the hereafter. He blames her for dooming him to suffer at the foot of the pillar. You overhear your parents talking one night. Mother begs Father to move Sir Gregor to his old home and spare the children his decline. Father refuses her outright. It is late at night. The hot, dry winds are coming.
Oh, damn, he looks fucked. Jesus.
Looks more like a wild man, like a barbarian, like a hill person. The house is empty save for you, Nathan, Gloria, Mother, and Grandfather in his bed. Father is left for the capital on business. You are engrossed by the history of the Empire, snapping out of your reverie only when the clock strikes midnight. You blow out the candle and get ready for bed. You hear the shuffling of heavy feet outside your door. You see light in the hallway. Grandfather. What could he want in the middle of the night? You peek into the hallway once he has passed. Grandfather's figure sways as he heads for the door to Mother's chambers. He opens the door and walks in. You hear him saying something quietly. Your unease is stronger than your fear now. You sneak closer to hear his words.
You foul commoner, I have to cleanse my sins. I have to save my soul. You are my greatest sin. You and what you have done to Robert and this family. I should have put a stop to this marriage. I should have stopped Robert from tainting this house by your presence. Why, oh, why didn't I do it?
Please, Sir Brant, I beg of you.
Silence! You will do my bidding. Fire will cleanse all low-born filth from this place. Fire and flame will free Robert from this disgrace. This is for my son's sake. For my son's sake. For my sake. I need to eradicate this low-born filth. The twins, they're calling for me now. I can feel it. I can feel it.
I beg of you, please, have mercy. Mother begins to cry. You run into the room, unable to stay out of this any longer. Grandfather's gaunt figure looms over Mother's bed, a lit oil lamp in his hand. Mother is sprawled out on the bed, crying. Please, just let me warn the children. I beg of you, Sir Brant. Your steps are loud enough to be heard. Grandfather turns to look at you.
Stay out of this, Butterball. Be useful for once. Worldly matters concern me no longer. I see only my sins now. And a sinner I am. A sinner. The twins, they forgive no one. They will judge me by the pillar. I must do something. I don't want to suffer for all eternity. Go away.
Mother is crying. Grandfather is still looming over the bed, driven to madness. His hand shakes as it clutches the oil lamp. His eyes shine in the dark. He truly believes this has to be done. You are suddenly torn. What if he is right? What if that is the only way for his soul to find salvation? There's no going back now. You have but a moment to act.
Well, okay. Well, let me at least read the options.
Run away to rescue Nathan and Gloria. Stop Grandfather, or let it all happen as Grandfather wishes.
Fuck this old man.
True. I did say, this requires willpower. Thankful we have some.
Oh no. Ah, shucks.
Oh wow, this costs a lot of willpower. Holy shit. Costs all of our willpower. Oh wait, no. Willpower greater than or equal to 0. Now 20. Oh, never mind. Never mind. We just have to have at least 0 to do it. Got it. Never mind. I was misreading that. We're fine. We're good. Okay. Well, chat wanted 2. The chat was pretty strong about 2. Yeah, time to use that willpower? You're damn right. We weren't saving it for a rainy day. We're saving it for a hot, fiery inferno, apparently. You run to Mother's side and snatch the lamp out of Grandfather's hand before he can start a fire. Good thing he's old and slow. You look at Grandfather defiantly and step towards him. He stares you down with rage and throws the oil lamp at the floor. You manage to catch it, but just barely. Several drops of hot oil hit the rug. Not nearly enough to start a fire. The lamp's glass is blistering hot. It burns your hands, but you still hold on to it safely.
You low-born scum! You ruined everything! You're every bit like your mother! You rapscallion!
Enraged, he takes a swing and you squeeze your eyes shut. Oh, jeez, he's gonna kill us again like when we were a 6-year-old. But he doesn't hit you. Instead, there is a deep exhalation. You peek at him with one eye, just in time to see him collapse, all of his strength fading away. His chest is heaving, his face a grimace of contempt. Another heavy exhalation. The contempt is gone. There is only fear now. Grandfather's eyes open wide, almost in surprise. He exhales. His eyes grow dim. We did it, Chet! We gave him a heart attack! Hooray! Mother is there, whispering a prayer. She is shaking violently. You put the oil lamp gently on the bedside table. Call for the servants. They carry the body away. It does not disappear. True death has found him. He will never return. You spend the rest of the night with Mother, in the sitting room. She will not let go of your hand. For many, many nights afterward, she keeps seeing Grandfather's shadow out of the corner of her eye. Father returns from Eterna the morning after. He is unusually composed as he arranges for the funeral. The house becomes quiet, not the looming, heavy sort of quiet of the past few months, but the calm relief you all feel now that the crazed old man is no more. At last, Gregor Brante, the family's patriarch, has departed for the hereafter. Aw, shucks, he's distasteful with us. He's dead. He hated us into his death. Only distaste, yeah, he doesn't hate us that much. I mean, to be completely honest, distaste doesn't seem that bad. At least it's not hateful. True death. Get fucked. Passed away and departed to face the twins' judgment. Honestly, I don't think that his judgment might be more harsh based on his last day alive, but prior to that, I don't think his judgment was going to be as harsh as he thinks. I'm pretty sure he was probably fine. Right up until the end. I think that's what's going to screw him, and he's going to find that out the hard way. We had to stop him, true. Our nobility has increased. We are noble. Our ingenuity has increased. We are enterprising. Ooh, enterprising. Delightful. Our willpower, okay, we use 5 willpower. We're still good. Still good. We got plenty to spare. We haven't wasted it frivolously. Grandfather's demise. Your grandfather, Sir Gregor Brante, left this world forever to meet the twin gods. Last respects. The night of grandfather's death shook your family to the core. Yet no matter how it happened, your grandfather, Gregor Brante, is dead and will never return. He was a fearful shadow looming over the rest of the family, the Brante patriarch, exerting its influence on all the lives below him, and all of you will remember him forever. Father is a new patriarch of the family now, yet he's still gonna bring himself to sit at the head of the table where Sir Gregor used to preside. Stefan locks himself away in grandfather's bedroom every day. He will not talk to anyone. Gloria and Nathan still jump at every sound that so much as resembles the knocking of his walking stick. Mother spends all day in prayer at the temple. And yet the house has become calm and quiet with its passing. But there's one more thing that must be done. The final farewell. It weighs heavily upon your soul. The day comes to pay your final respects. Father goes to the tomb alone, save for Stefan and you. Mother and Gloria stay at home. Only nobles or those who may become nobles may join this ritual. There's a solemn silence as you walk to the crypt. Father is the only one who breaks the silence when you finally reach the door, family crypt. Your grandfather built this crypt, and now he will be the first Brante to remain here in body forever. The first ever noble in our family. It is our duty now to hold the sacrament of flowing blood for Sir Gregor. We will honor his legacy and join him as the founder of the noble Brante dynasty. Stefan perks up at Father's words. His hands still clutch grandfather's sword. Tradition decrees that it must remain in the niche above the owner's sarcophagus. Nathan, on the other hand, looks even more frightened now. He's gonna get back up as a zombie, or we're gonna have to kill him. Grandfather who? Oh. Stairs carved of white stone lead you downward. I've been here twice. I've died in here. I've been in here twice, I think. Deep in the gloom of the crypt, atop a pedestal, you see the sarcophagus that holds grandfather's body. Father takes a moment to compose himself before paying his final respects. Gregor Brante, my father, brought our family into nobility through his unshakable will. He was a judge and a loyal servant to the Empire. He lived his life as if he had been born a noble. and he never strayed from the path he had chosen. I sought to make the Brant family ennobled by the sword so that our children's children might be of noble birth. The twins know I abide in my father's words all my life, even if I could not obey him every time. Father lets a bitter chuckle as he says this. Stefan glares at Father, then turns to glare at Nathan and you. After all, the two of you were born of Father's shameful decision to marry a common. All of you remember his disastrous passing. He did not die the true death he deserved. Yet we all must know that he fought for the future he believed in. To the very end, he would be proud to see his family bid him farewell with his sacrament of the nobility. Stefan still glares at Father sullenly. His fingers remain clutched around Grandfather's sword. Nathan barely pays attention to the words. He looks around with unease, his arms folded across his chest. Father reaches into his jacket and pulls out a slender dagger, thin and sharp. He takes off his gloves. Watch me carefully, my sons. Make a small cut on the palm of your hand and let your blood flow into the duct of the wall. Crypt. It will join your grandfather's blood here and flow forever. An ancestor and progeny will become as one.
I don't want to be one with Grandpa. Fuck.
We shall enter our family's blood tide, receive grandfather's final blessing, for his blood flows first in our blood tide. He will respond to you. You are part of him, and he is part of you.
Oh, maybe that distasteful thing's gonna come back to bite me in the ass now.
With a quick motion, Father slices his hand and holds the bleeding cut above a small opening on the wall. Then he hands the dagger to Stefan. Stefan cuts his hand without hesitation and does as Father did. You receive the dagger next. The dagger's handle feels warm. You hesitate for a moment as you look at the palm of your hand. If you participate in this ritual, you will enter the Brant blood tide. You, a low-born child who is still a commoner. Are you ready to claim your legacy as a descendant of the nobleman, Gregor Brant? The eyes of your father and brothers are upon you. Nathan, the youngest brother, will follow your example. You can be certain of this.
Oh, well. Gee, you need a nobility of 6.
And Gregor Brant can't hate you.
Well, that's fair. Bleed. You need nobleman's sacrament, which we don't have.
And give the dagger back. You refuse to participate in the ritual. After all, you do not bear the nobleman's lot.
True.
You return the dagger to Father and say you cannot participate in the ritual. You are a commoner. Your back bears the mark of the lash. Grandfather would never have let you honor his name as a nobleman. Nathan nods in agreement. You do not deserve this honor. Father furrows his brow and shakes his head.
Stefan, help me close the lid of the sarcophagus. And remember to ask for Grandfather for his blessing. As for you two, it seems you weren't ready to walk the nobleman's path after all. You're right, son. Your grandfather would never have allowed it.
The lid of the sarcophagus falls into place, with a heavy, resonant thud. Then suddenly, you all freeze as each of you hears your late grandfather speak to you. His voice is loud as it rings in the depths of the crypt, and yet he speaks to each of you separately.
We almost had enough. Well, Daddy hated us. Or Grandpa hated us. So we needed both enough nobility, which we were close on, but we also needed, +5. We needed Grandpa to be 5 happier with us, which was never a shot in hell. Sup, the mech warrior? How you doing? You needed one of them. Well. Oh, jeez. Foul blood, weakling! I knew you never had it in you to rise above your meager birth, Butterball. You have not a drop of nobility in you. I have 5 drops of nobility in me. You can't count. Grandpa? Grandpa, you're confused. Lay back down and go to sleep. And your pathetic little brother is the same. You are a taint upon my flesh and blood. Begone from my crypt.
Your legs carry out of the crypt of their own accord. Out of that stuffy crypt. You can finally breathe again. You hear slow footsteps behind you. You turn around and meet Nathan's gaze.
You did the right thing. If it weren't for you, I'd have done what Father told us. Grandfather said I should stay away from his legacy. Said it'll do me no good if I try to follow in his footsteps. How's that for words of guidance, huh?
Nathan sighs as he embraces you. Father and Stefan leave the crypt much later and walk to the carriage without a word. You and Nathan humbly follow behind them. Well, I mean, Daddy isn't quite as happy with us, but +3 is still pretty good. I'll keep a +3, that's alright. And Nathan, hey, look at that. Everyone in the family is +3. Easy. Grandpa sounds like a bastard. Stuff a C4 charge in his coffin, if only. Only that would get me branded for witchcraft, though, and that's probably not ideal. I only have 2 deaths left. Hey, we gained some willpower, so at least it wasn't a complete waste. The poets. Oh boy. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Conditions met. Ingenuity. 4. We're ingenious. The poets. Today you and Thomas are to explore the streets of the castle district. You delve deep into the district, right to the old siege walls of Manizot. The city needs these walls no longer. There are no more enemies left for the Empire to fight, since the twins descended and chose the Tempest Dynasty to rule the Empire. It has spread one sea to sea, bringing its rule and peace for many generations. So only one sea to one sea. So there's other lands out there not ruled by this, I would imagine. Well, that still means there's possible enemies out there. I'm assuming from sea to sea. I think that's a mistype. The two of you gaze in awe at the old charcoal black markets on the former fortress walls. They say magic wielders during Char Milanitis' rebellion could conjure gusts of fire with their own hands. The rebellious Duke fought against the Emperor and the Church of the Twin Gods in the days of yore, but nothing remains of his rebellion now save for scorched ruins and parched land throughout Magra. You and your friends study the old walls and daydream about the battles that took place here during the rebellion. But then you hear a muffled voice coming from somewhere below the ground. You look around and find a hole in the brickwork where the sounds are coming from. Naturally, you take a peek. You see a half-ruined hall built below the ground, and a handful of young men and women standing there in the dark. They look a little bit older than you, and are wearing plain shirts and dresses. A young man is standing on a piece of crumbled wall, reciting some of his poetry. It tells the story of a nobleman who fell into a puddle thanks to his gaudy cloak, and none of his noble bearing was of any help. He ends it with a farcical bow. Farcical. Never seen farce put that way before. That's a new word for me, chat. You hear applause and laughter. He gets down from the crumbled wall, and a young girl takes his place. You cannot see her face in the darkness, but of course. But hers is a voice you could recognize anywhere. It is Gloria. Your sister begins to recite a poem she has written. Nay, Gloria, yours is no proper life. You are to be a mother and a wife. Accept the kitchen apron for a gag, and lo, another voice now takes a crack. You're straying from your lot, you've got some nerve. Eyes down and be obedient, and serve. Your husband, children, house, they are your absolute. Nay, Gloria, you are but rotten fruit. Oh. You lean down to hear her better, but sand and stones fall from under your feet and into the underground hall. Gloria looks up and meets your gaze. Thomas pulls you away from the hole. So they're reading poems, imagine that. They sure hate nobles, and even Gloria. I never thought your sister could do that. But they're sure gonna get in trouble if they get spotted by an adult. Bad-mouthing a noble will get you flogged into next week, not to mention all the trouble you can get into for writing poems if you're a commoner. You better tell your sister to lay off. We'd better stay away from them, too. You're not. Being around these people puts Gloria in great danger, but you know your sister. It will not be easy to tell her this. Your adventure in the castle district is done for tonight. You and your friend return home. During dinner, Gloria will not look at you. Her hair is all disheveled. Is she afraid or is she ashamed? You're also worried sick. These literary gatherings may spell danger for your sister. For an illegitimate child like her, there are so few ways to forge your own path. Dinner is over. Soon you and Gloria are alone at the table. What are you going to tell her? We have two options. Convince Gloria to leave the society, or keep Gloria's secret. Which will it be, chat? 1 or 2? We have a 2 so far. This is a tougher one. There's a lot of potential repercussions here moving forward. Either way. Looks like we have 1, 2, we have a bunch of 2s. Mostly 2s. I do see that one there. She might die, that's true. It's her own damn fault. Well, that's not entirely true. We technically encouraged her to embrace her poetry in the last chapter. So, technically, this would be our fault. Oh, can we change our answer? Bob has already done that. Bob has set the standard. You may change your answer. Bob has switched from a 2 to a 1. We have 3 1s now. The 1s have shifted. Let's get killed. So we have a tie. Ties come down to the dice. It is time for fate to decide. And the number is up. It's an even, that's a heads. First option wins. Convince Gloria to leave the society. This is probably not going to help our relationship with her, but who knows what this is ultimately going to be. I honestly have no idea. It's entirely possible either way could lead to her death, so. But the dice have spoken. If anyone ever hears about this poets' gathering, it could be bad for Gloria. Gloria does not leave the table. After a few moments of silence, she begins to speak. Only nobles are allowed to create works of beauty and joy. Writing poetry is against Gloria's lot in life, and doubly so for poetry that mocks a noble. Can I have a good relationship if she's dead? My concern is I feel like she's getting towards the end of a rope here. And I think that rope might end up being literal. So she could very well end up dead either way. I mean, this could go any... Honestly, I don't feel like this was a clear-cut situation. So let's just... who knows? The secret passion may end badly for Gloria. At best, she will get flogged. At worst, they will cut off her right hand, making her unable to write, until a lesser death causes her to be reborn. She listens to you with her eyes downcast, looking unlike the older sister you know. You keep talking. Going to these meetings with her low-born friends will damage the family's reputation, and Father could even refuse to protect Gloria, especially if he realizes what her poems are about. Finally, Gloria looks up at you, her eyes burn with stubborn rage. Or she could kill us. We could just die by hot poker right now. That would be a twist. Wouldn't see that one coming. You don't understand, Butterball. Me and my friends. Without our poetry, we don't have anything else. Nothing but our abysmal daily lives. At least we can laugh about it this way. Still, you insist that Gloria cut all ties with her poetry clique. If she gets caught, all the Brants will pay. If she doesn't care about herself, at least she ought to think about the family that took her in. Gloria twists her lips into a grimace and says you should leave. You hear no definitive answer from her. You keep an eye on Gloria for the next few days. She no longer leaves home. She has stopped attending the secret poetry gatherings. Or has she learned to hide her tracks? You never know for sure. Well, we gained spirituality, and we gained nobility. This one I expected. This one's a little surprising, but okay. You discover the secret society your sister Gloria is doing. We didn't actually lose any friendship. I guess she realized we weren't entirely incorrect. Although I do feel like this is going to have long-standing repercussions here at some point. Very long-standing. This is going to come back eventually. An adult question. This event is oh god, that gave us the spirituality we needed for the third stat event. Anyway, an adult question. So that previous action resulted in this. The day is sunny, scorching, and hot. You are sitting in the yard, in the shade of a tree, studying books about the twins' great descent. You hear shy, quiet steps. There is no need to look back. You know from the sound that it is Nathan. Your younger brother also sits in the shade of the tree, yet he is quiet. He is not tugging at your clothes this time. That is unusual. He is just sitting by your side, breathing loudly. You tear yourself away from the book and look at your brother. Nathan is deep in thought. He seems uneasy. His is fidgeting with a symbol of the twins, a cross inside a circle, a lash bound around the sword. It is Nathan's pendant. He wears it all the time, but not today. The silence wears on. Nathan takes a deep breath, like he is about to speak, but he does not. His face grows even grimmer. He looks unusually hurt and bitter. At last, Nathan gathers his courage. He takes another deep breath. His eyes narrow. His hand clutches the encircled cross. Tell me, Butterball, the twins. They hate me, don't they? Nathan's voice is quiet, yet firm. The world falls silent around you. Not even a gust of wind can be heard. It is as if everything is awaiting your answer. You look at your brother again, confused. Nathan, the youngest brother, most unassuming child, is quiet, obedient, and thoughtful. He has been your responsibility almost since his birth, yet he has never been a burden. Father was always aloof around him, and mother was too tired to even smile. Even grandfather seemed to avoid Nathan with his scorn. He just treated your little brother like a piece of trash. He never called him by name, and always winced at the sight of him, perhaps because he looked so much like mother. But it is true that the twin gods had no love for your little brother. But is it true? Surely the twins have enough even for little Nathan, do they not? Nathan was born a commoner like you. His lot is suffering. Everyone is tested by the twins before their true death. No one can expect mercy along their path. He was born the youngest child in your family. That is his trial. Should Nathan persevere and bear the burden he was dealt, he shall yet reach the peak of the pillar when his time runs out. There is hope in Nathan's eyes as he looks at you. Guiding others in matters of faith is the clergy's lot. You are no priest, yet you cannot stay quiet. You see his pain, you see his trepidation, and so you will tell him what you think. What you are about to say may be a turning point in his life. Option 1, dispel Nathan's fears. Option 2, confirm Nathan's fears. 1 or 2. I am out of the drink. Sad music. Honestly, the audio work for this game is pretty good. Some of the effects are a little loud, but the audio work generally fits well with the game. Alright. 1 it is. Are our gods evil? No. Technically, they're a duality. One of them is caring and merciful, and loves everyone and everything. The other is merciless and, disciplined. The judge. Is essentially, we've met them twice now, because I have done it twice. So they are two sides of a coin. But even the merciless one, merciless kind of gives off the idea of evil. But in this case, it's less evil and more indifference, more... What's the word I'm looking for? Not pragmatism, but, yeah, there's a word for it. I can't think of it right now. Anyway, 1 looks like it's taken it. The twins are love for all that exists. Cold judgment. Yeah. Basically, there's a word I'm trying to think of, but I just can't place my tongue around it right now. But basically, cold judgment. He is the law, essentially. He is order. You tell your brother that the twins are more than just law and will. They are also love. So writes Cessacius, a disciple of the Elder, and so says Mother. And both you and him were brought into this world through their providence. It is true that their love is quite unlike the love humans have for one another. They cannot forgive others unconditionally like mother or father would. Your parents love you no matter what, but they are unlike them. And yet the twins bear no hatred, for they descended to our world and granted us knowledge of how to live. And this is a great treasure indeed. The twins put us all to the test with the hardships they send. They watch how we follow our lots. And if Nathan suffers and feels no love from them, then that means they believe in him and know he will endure this suffering. They know he will humbly accept it and let it pass through him. Let it purify him. This is the manifestation of their love. Nathan hangs on your every word. The despair fades from his face. He is smiling. He puts the chain with the encircled cross back around his neck, again, and hugs you gratefully. So they do love me. Thank you. You've helped me hold on to my faith. You hug Nathan back and hear him sniffle on your shoulder. You will remember this little talk for years to come. Hey! Spirituality has increased. It's now my highest stat. Oh, no, it's not. No, nobility is still my highest. Fair enough. Nathan's admonition. The event has happened. Well, we got almost all the family ones, except for the one involving Grandpa. Right? Grandfather's passing and last respects have left a mark on the entire family. His words relayed from the hereafter keep echoing in your mind. You still do your best to avoid the memory of Grandfather's last night and spend more time on the city streets with Thomas and your other classmates. What's up, Raider? Humans? Bears? Raiders? How you doing? The road by the house reminds you of another clash with death. Sometimes, as you walk along that road, you recall Sophia, the beautiful girl with the wonderful eyes, and the terrifying, thundering hooves. You have not seen Sophia since that fateful day. The children who live nearby say her parents sent her to a rich Arknian family, the Autons, as a servant. The sun has set. The pillar shines palely in the dark sky. Thomas is ill, so you decide to visit him and tell him the latest news. The streets seem oddly agitated tonight, full of horses, cloaked men, strange faces, and hushed voices. A young nobleman in a heavy embroidered cloak is walking back and forth, clutching at his sword nervously. There is a grimace of rage on his delicate blue face. He is an Arknian. You overhear voices.
Sir Otton, the girl's not at home. We searched the house. Her parents swear she ran away from home too. They claim they wanted to bring her back.
Dorius Otton.
Just do whatever it takes. Turn this loathsome district upside down if you must. But bring my servant back to me. She's here.
Sophia? Ran away from the Arknian? How can this be? There's only one place on the entire street where a person could hide. The abandoned Morel house, 4 houses away from yours. You head there, doing your best not to attract attention. A lopsided house built of yellow brick has been abandoned for 20 years or so. You remember playing there as a boy. You glimpse a figure inside even before you enter. A pair of eyes glimmer in the dark. You would recognize them even after another 4 years. Sophia has grown up. She is almost an adult now. Her face is full of fear. She is not the easygoing girl next door that you remember. She finally recognizes you. Oh, it's you, Butterball. Be quiet. They're all looking for me. I ran away from the youngest Otton. I might be in for a lesser death here, but I'd rather die than spend another day in their slavery. I'm just a thing to him, just a toy to play with. Sophia winces and closes her mouth as she says this. There is a glint of bright yellow deep in her eyes. I ran to my parents. I told them all about the man I had to serve. And they went and alerted the Ottons. They don't want to be the target of their ire, but you aren't going to tip them off, are you? The barking and shouting are getting closer. Sophia's voice grows quiet. She runs off to the darkest corner of the house before you answer. One of Onan's servants is so close, you can hear his cloak swishing against the ground. He notices something and calls for the others. Long time I don't catch you on stream. How you doing, friend? There are more voices around you now. They approach the house from the yard and surround it. One of them seems particularly snappy, annoyed, and impatient. You've already heard this voice today.
If you're in there, girl, you'd be wise to come out and quit wasting my time. All will be forgiven, and you will go back to where you were. You know it, and if you don't, I'll drag you out by the hair.
The hilt of the young Archnean's sword mashes at the door. He is about to lose his patience for good. Sophia hugs the wall in the dark, trying to stay still. She glances at you. What will you do? Your heart is racing. Can you act against the Archnean's orders? Do you have the gall to defy the mighty nobleman? Our options. 1. Try to stop Otten. 2. Help Sophia flee. Or 3. Hide alone. Which one are you going for? Technically, this doesn't exist, so it's 1, 2, and 3. 3 is hide alone. Hide? Okay, or 2 rather. Yeah, okay. I think there was a little bit of confusion. What do they cost? 5 willpower each, and we currently have 20 willpower. Alright, okay, things are changing. That's what I thought. I thought you guys were going for this one, but I figured I'd clarify. Help Sophia, damn it! Hide! Okay, Raider, you go hide! Go hide under the sheets, Raider! They won't find you. Pretend you're a coat rack. Collecting dust. You'll be good. You'll be safe, Raider. Okay, 2. 2 it is. Help Sophia flee. Ah, this is only because we have ingenuity. If we didn't have that, that wouldn't be an option. Okay, so this one's only an option if Sophia hasn't died her first death. Okay. Anyway, help Sophia flee. You lead the fugitive girl through the old cellar and away from the house. You grab Sophia's hand as you run down the stairs to the old cellar. She resists you at first until she reads your lips. There is a secret way out. You sneak away into the cellar, leading the way. The floorboards groan above your heads as the Archnean and his men search the house. But only children who grew up in this district know that this cellar leads to the neighboring district. You lead Sophia to the hole in the cellar floor and help her squeeze in. There it is, an odd tunnel that leads to a well 2 streets away. None of the children know who dug it, yet you played here and chased each other through it so many times as a lad. Now this secret passage will rescue Sophia from genuine pursuit. Soon you are in the well. There's nothing above you save for the sky full of clouds. You wait until you hear more steps around you, then climb out of the well and help Sophia up. You lead the way to the slums around the Temple District, the easiest place to disappear. A dog in a nearby house starts barking. One of Otten's men. Wrong OTT. In front of you, you take a step back as your fingers search for a brick ready to defend Sophia no matter the cost. She squeezes your hand, and then you hear a high-pitched scream of rage. A flash of yellow light stuns you. The blink of an eye. Otten's man freezes and collapses, unable to get back up. She's a witch! Wow, that's very powerful. Either that or that trinket. No, we did see the yellow in her eyes. She's a witch, but she has a different power. All other witches have been described as fire users. She seems to be electricity-oriented, which is different and unusual. Sophia's eyes are no longer sky blue. They are yellow now. She lets go of your hand. You recoil in fear. Oh. Aggressively yellow. You weren't supposed to see that, Butterball. Don't worry, I won't hurt you. But I won't let them take me. I won't go back to Otten after this. I need to run. Run as far as my legs can take me. Thank you for helping me. And farewell. Sophia gives you a gentle kiss on the cheek and disappears down the dark alleyway. You stand there stunned. It's an electricity joke, right? Sophia is a witch. Her magic bound Otten's man by the arms and legs. It made him unable to move. You hear Otten's screams of rage and the thumping of his men's feet, but Sophia is long gone. It's a shame that was all you could do for her. Oh, she didn't kill the guy. She just bound him with electricity? Okay. It's good. It's good. She's Sith. Hey. That could be cute, Sith. I'm just saying. The runaway girl becomes the talk of your district for an entire week. You overhear that Sophia managed to flee the city. The Ottens are furious. After this sudden appearance, she disappears from your life once more. You will not see her again until much, much later. Trusting. She is trusting of us. Hey, it's the first person we've gotten to trusting. Interesting. Alright. This is what shotguns are for, or SMGs. I don't know if those would help. I never said it was a bad thing. Fair enough. Our willpower. Alright, we're down to 15. We still have quite the reserve, though, so that's not too bad. Matters of the Heart event has happened. Meet a girl! Hooray! Reverse romantic feelings. Oh, there was definitely a spark between us. Yeah, definitely. Alright, next. A bloodstained sermon. You are about to turn 15, just one step away from adulthood. Mother is acting anxious at dinner today, barely touching her food. You exchange glances with Gloria as she carefully tells you that she wants to go to the tailor. Mother shudders, and her hands clench into fists.
No, don't you dare leave home today, I forbid it. That dirty heretic Fotis is preaching his lies under the silver tree today. Twins willing, I don't want you to hear any of that.
You and Gloria glance at each other again. Fotis, he is a patriarch, the head of the clergy throughout the entire province. That is the first time you've heard Mother speak like this about a priest, especially such a high-ranking one. Once you leave the dinner table, Gloria comes to your room with a cunning expression on her face, like she's about to play a trick on someone. She has a plan. The two of you should sneak out of the house and go to the silver tree. You simply must hear that sermon for yourself. What's so bad about Patriarch Fotis? Why does Mother hate him so much? You two are grown-ups now. Surely you have the right to know. You agree with your sister. Together you sneak out from under your mother's watchful eye and hurry to the silver tree. The temple block is full of people from all ranks and estate. There's barely enough room for you to squeeze to the crowd. The crowd is gathered around the very roots of the tree. Gloria suggests that you climb up the roof of a nearby building so you can hear and see everything better. And not a moment too soon, from the roof you see a tall, silver-haired priest step onto the platform by the tree, dressed in the common black robe that looks far beneath his rank. Yet he stands like a noble before the crowd. Behind his back is a banner flapping in the wind. The open book. This is the symbol of the new faith. The crowd whispers. The patriarch holds his hands up to the sky, and the entire temple block grows quiet. He begins his sermon, his vibrant voice rolling across the square. Fotis speaks of a great mistake.
We entrusted ourselves to the lots as the only way to fulfill divine providence in this world. But for all of these years, the will of the twins has been interpreted for us by a single man, Prophet Tisatius. The twins are ever watching from atop the shining pillar, of this we have no doubt. But how can we so blindly believe that we truly follow thy will by following the lots? Have we not seen the 3 lots of Tisatius fail again and again to answer the question of how we ought to live our lives? Have we not seen people change their lot in life again and again without being smitten by divine wrath? Every person born, whether human or Archnean, low-born or noble, must find their lot and their way to the gods on their own. From now on, we will seek the gods in the accounts of their own lives, in their own acts in this world, and in their own words as they echo within us. And as we heed the voice of the twins within, we will each find their path for us on our own.
The crowd at the silver tree listens to the patriarch's speech in stunned silence. You glance at your sister. Her eyes glisten with tears as she hears Fotis' words. Then suddenly, a hoarse cry rises from the crowd. If there are no lots, does that mean the nobles are going to till the fields and the commoners are going to bear arms? The crowd begins to murmur. The patriarch raises an arm and inhales, ready to answer. An odd figure leaps from the crowd onto the platform, a dirty beggar dressed in rags. A knife flashes in his hand. The blade slices. Blood starts spurting from Fotis' throat. He slumps over and collapses. A dark brown puddle spreads across the platform where it stood. Gloria clutches her mouth to suppress a shriek. A few moments of stunned silence, and then the screams begin. The people are frantic. The temple guards try to restore order in the crowd, but to no avail. An old woman dressed in an inquisitor's cassock tries in vain to apply pressure to the patriarch's wound. The nobles draw their swords. Dogs are barking, the crowd is pushing and shoving, children are crying. The entire square by the tree is in chaos. From the roof you see the moment when people start trampling each other, howling, praying, shouting. Gloria tugs on your sleeve. Time to go. You climb down from the roof and run. You return home without exchanging a word. Mother has been in her room all the while, so no one noticed your absence. Gloria locks herself in her room. You do not discuss the things you have just seen. They are too frightening. But your parents discuss every little detail of the bloodstained sermon over dinner.
This is unbelievable. A patriarch murdered in plain sight. The gendarmes and the Archduke's guards have searched every corner of the slums, and the murderous beggar has disappeared without a trace. I can't even imagine a more gruesome crime. Otis has died a true death, never to return from the hereafter.
But how? Why can't the patriarch be reborn? He's so close to the twins.
Such is the way of the world, my children. Once you are granted great power by the twins' will, there is no hope for you to come back. Not even after the first of your deaths. Emperors, their powerful vassals, heads of great Acnean dynasties. Patriarchs of the church, none of them are destined to be reborn. Otis is gone forever. I fear for his soul. It was lost in doubt. Will the twins accept him upon the peak of the pillar? We must pray for the patriarch, children. Let us hope he managed to return to the true old faith before the moment of his passing.
But there is little hope for that. Although, to be fair, I think he's actually on to the truth. I have my sneaking suspicions that the twins aren't necessarily 100% thrilled by the current state of things. There have been a few implications of that. The church has increased. The old faith. Order has decreased. Discontent. Okay. Tomorrow you turn 16. According to Imperial law, you will be a full adult. Your time at Sir Tibber's school has ended. You have studied enough to apply for the Imperial College and learn the judge's trade there. You are to travel to Eterna tomorrow. Your friend Thomas will go there with you to try his luck in the Imperial capital. Mother and father prepare you for the long journey.
Remember, son, there is only one goal for you. You must become a student of the Imperial College. Your teachers dragged you through all those books for a reason. You have the knowledge and fervor to be ennobled by the mantle as I was, as my late father was before me. And who knows, maybe one day you will be the one to write the name Brant in the Blue Book and ensure that your children's children will be ennobled by the birth.
And Mother speaks to you carefully. There is worry in her eyes.
But Robert, there may be another path for our son. Stefan, your firstborn, was born a noble. He will surely earn the title for the entire Brant family. Your second son bears the favor of the twins. For him, the path of the priest is a worthy calling, no less than a nobleman's sword.
They have been arguing about your future for a while now. Still, she would never define the will of a nobleman, her husband. You smile at them both, trying to placate them. Gloria laughs quietly behind their backs. Just don't become a snoot like Stefan and you'll do just fine. Mother chides Gloria for that. You wink at your sister. Nathan has been downcast all evening. He barely touched his dinner. When everyone gets up from the table, he suddenly rushes over to embrace you. Please don't go, Butterball. Can't you stay? I don't know what I'm going to do without you. You tussle his hair in response. There is no way you can stay now, you say. But when you come home, and you will come home, you'll tell him all your stories and bring him a special present from Eterna. This is it. All your lessons have been learned. All your things have been packed for the road. You will leave the family home tomorrow. Tonight is your last night at home before your departure. You walk through the rooms one last time. The sitting room where Mother used to read your fairy tales. The library where Gloria used to spend all of her time. Father's study, which you entered only on special occasions. The backyard where you taught Nathan to build towers one summer. The whole place feels so familiar, so dear to you. It feels like home. You lived here for 16 years. Will you ever return? It is getting late. Everyone is already in their rooms. But you hesitate. Father, Mother, Gloria, Nathan. It will be a long time before you see them again. Who will you spend your last few hours at home with?
Oh! Sorry, Dad. I'm a little sorry, Pops. I'm sorry.
Alright, our options are 1, 2, or 3. Spend time with Mother, spend time with Gloria, or spend time with Nathan. We have a 1, we have a 3. 2 3s. 3 3s. See the requirements for the first option. The requirements are Dad is either grateful or we have a +4 with him. We only have a +3. I'll pick Nathan. Chat wants to pick Nathan. 3s are winning right now. Nathan needs you the most. It's fair. Alright. To Nathan! Surely your brother is awake at this hour, or isn't he? Nathan is already in bed, snoring. You approach your brother quietly and pat him on the head. He is startled, starts smiling with joy when you realize it is you. Hi, hey, can we go outside? I need your help with something. You creep silently downstairs. The air outside is damp and drops of dew. Listen in the night. Nathan drives you towards the bushes. A spotted kitten looks at you from the bushes with sad eyes. You see a bowl of water and some scraps of food next to it. Look, he ran into our yard today. See? He's got a broken paw. We need to save the poor kitten. You pat Nathan on the head. Together you sneak the poor animal into the house and take him to the storage closet. Then you close the closet door and begin with the treatment. If anyone is clumsy in your family, it is Nathan. Yet his hands are unusually accurate and calm as he binds the kitten's paw. You start chatting as you treat the kitten. As you think out loud about living in the capital and working towards your goal, Nathan strokes the poor animal's wet fur. He sighs. It's tough for me, you know, thinking about being a grown-up. I'm not much of anything even now. I wish I could be like you. You sure know where you're going and who you're going to be. You shrug. No, I mean it. I can't be like that. They say I'm going to study too and go to Eterna and become a priest or go to the college. But there's no way I can make it there. Does that mean there's nothing else out there for me? You'll be leaving soon and I'll be all alone here. You'll write to me, I know you will. And you'll come back one day, but I'm scared. Scared I might lose my way when you're not around. You'll come back, but it'll be different. You'll be different. I'll be different too. You swear to Nathan that even if everything changes, you will always be his brother. You will always be there to offer him advice and support, and you have no doubt that he will find his way in life. It just takes time to find yourself, sometimes more than you might expect. The sun is about to rise. You should rest before the long trip, but you are not tired at all. Nevertheless, it is time for bed. Before you leave, Nathan hugs you again. Please promise you'll come back, Butterball. You swear to him that you will. You get into bed and fade away into gentle, happy sleep. They will be waiting for you back here, no matter what. Oh, +5. I think we just maxed out. Sweet. So that's basically it. Who do you want to max out with on your way out the door? And Nathan is the one you can do by default because the story naturally pushes you to a high relationship with Nathan. So that's alright. I'm fine with that. Alright. And we gain some willpower for the road. We're almost capped out, though. But that gives us plenty to work with in young adulthood. Hooray. Departure from home. You leave the family home for a long time. Your future awaits you in Eterna, the capital of the Empire. The end of adolescence. Last night was your final night at home. The carriage is now waiting at the gate, ready to take you to the capital. The clip-clopping of the idle hooves against the cobblestones count the seconds before your departure. You take one more look at your parents' house and recall your childhood spent there, in the nearby yards, at your school, and on the winding streets of Anizot. You clashed with the greater world around you and survived. You felt the tingle of emotion for the first time. You were taught by the school on the streets. You explored the city of your birth and learned something of its past. You witnessed firsthand events that will be remembered by history for all time. All of this is yours now, forever. You saw death, lesser death followed by rebirth, and the true death that takes and never gives back. You saw death lying in wait to strike the unaware, like a beast stalking its prey. You saw grandfather's angry grimace lit by the flickering fire of the lamp, the Archduke's cavalry trampling those who stood in their way, and your older brother's bloodied sword slicing through the air. Death has followed you from a very young age. And yet, you live on. You have a friend who has been by your side all these years. Thomas taught you many things. How to take a hit, how to keep your word, and how to remain true to your own self. And now Thomas is walking to the same carriage as you are with a heavy bag slung over his shoulder. Your friend will remain your companion for the time being. Ahead of you is a long trip towards the capital and adulthood. For the first time, you will be away from your family and home. What awaits you in the future? Whew, that was an active one. A lot going on there. Other options would have given you +2 to stats. Yeah, but that's a little metagamey. We're trying to go in blind. It's not about the stats. It's about the experience. It leads to some increased stats. Also true, willpower could play an important role in the future, especially with us already having 2 deaths beneath our belt. So, I wouldn't necessarily say the plus stats would have been more crucial, the willpower there. Willpower has done a lot for us over the last few events, so I think it's a bit of a wash. I'm more or less fine with the way that went down. Alright. For Sir Brant 2. Well, technically Sir Brant 3. We are Sir Brant 2 right now. Anyway, chat, that is the end of Chapter 2. Which means, next week, same time, same place, same Wednesday, we will start Chapter 3. It's looking like we might be able to get 1 chapter done each week. How many chapters are there, though? I can actually remember. There's a few, anyway. I think it was 5, maybe? 5? 5 sounds about right. Could be 5. Anyway, that will do it for me this evening. I'm getting the hell out of here. It's been fun. And, hold on. Actually, before I go, let me check and see what the tally is in Discord. What have we decided will be our game? Next up will be, by popular vote, Dishonored 1 and 2. So we'll be playing through the Dishonored series next. Now, who the fuck just tied it? Who did that? Who tied it? I swear to God. Okay, well, at the point I called it, whoever was the last one in there, I feel like it was TZ. It had to be TZ. TZ's been waiting this entire time. Doesn't count. It was already after I called it. They were too late. They should have been a second faster. Either way, that would have complicated things. Anyway, Dishonored 1 and 2 starts tomorrow. You cheeky. Alright. Enjoy the rest of your evenings, chat. Actually, hold on. Let me take a look at something real quick before we depart. Alright, I don't know how much longer she's going to be streaming, but Abby is streaming. It looks like some Dead by Daylight, so I'm gonna send you guys on over that way. Alright? Okay, sounds good. Enjoy the rest of your evenings. Stay safe out there. Have fun. And I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, I'm double checking to make sure I spelled this right. That is an extra L? That should not be there. Is that right? Well, if it doesn't go anywhere, we'll know in a second. Hell yeah. We're going. We're going. It's happening. Alright, see you guys later.